Merry Christmas, loyal viewers. I realize that my channel has been laying fallow for half a year at this point, but I was not gonna leave you gats hanging on Christmas Day. That's just not my style. It's not how I roll. I don't have a controller plugged in. Oh, I do. Okay, we're good. This is Final Fantasy VI World Collide Randomizer, and this is what we're going to be playing for Christmas this year. Just something real chill. Why not? So looking down here at, I guess, how do we... There we go. Sorry, I usually use a different emulator for SNES games, I guess, and for some reason I'm using a different emulator than the one I normally use, and I didn't do a test play or anything. I just made sure the recording rig was set up. This is super sus, what we're doing today, as the kids say, as far as my setup goes. Anyway, this is the randomizer for Final Fantasy VI. I guess we'll see if I can go through the flags here. I haven't played one of these randos in a couple of months. So yeah, we're going to start, I guess, with 3 random characters. We're not starting naked. That's good. Meet level 5. We can equip Umaro. Good to know. Everyone can learn Sword Tech, Bum Rush. Okay, this looks like my flag set that I like. I'm just making sure that it's pretty good. Start with a whole bunch of rages. Right. You want that. Shuffle dance abilities. That's going to make dance terrible. Dance is already kind of terrible. Probably won't even notice. Sketch accuracy. So we're always going to be able... Sketch is good, then, basically. That's good to know. And, oh, yeah. So we're going to have random characters, but I've randomized characters' commands. So I don't know which character is going to have which command. But I think, yeah, shuffle... Wait. Shuffle commands? It says random unique. Each of these commands should go to a random, unique character. But then it says shuffles. I don't know. I'm not excluding any big ups on experience and gold. We do want that. This is how we're going to scale bosses in the game. All these equations in here. This is like the bosses are going to be more difficult as we level up. That seems good. Shuffle the bosses, the dragons, the statues. Big boy Fumbaba's in there somewhere. Gain experience on boss fights. That's important because we're not going to be fighting like actual random encounters. And in vanilla Final Fantasy VI, you don't get experience for boss fights. So we want that. Encounters are shuffled. And 100% escape. Right, because there are some areas where there will be like not random encounters, but like regular enemy encounters in fixed positions. And this is going to shuffle those up. Doomgay is not going to run from me. Magi Master is not going to Ultima me, and Chatternook we have more. So all the boss stuff is there. Start with exactly 1 Esper. Each Esper teaches a few random spells, and characters can't. This is a change from vanilla. So each character can equip 6 random Espers. So we're going to have a position where not every character can learn every magic spell. That's going to be interesting. Natural magic. I think this means it'll randomly pick 2 characters to learn natural magic, but they won't necessarily be Terra and Celeste, who they are in the base game, and then all that gets randomized. Start some gold. Start with 3 Moogle Charms. We don't need sprint shoes because we have an auto run. Like sprint shoes are going to be toggled on anyway. I don't have any warp stones because I think I gave everybody a free warp spell, even though warp doesn't work on like 50% of the maps. And... yeah, okay, this is the other character randomization. So I randomized characters' commands, but I left their equipment sets. And I remember I did some testing back and forth. I decided I was going to do this for my Christmas video a long time ago. I'll talk a little more about what I was actually planning to do versus what I ended up doing this year. This has been a crazy year for me, if you haven't noticed. But yeah, I tried it both ways. I tried it with like the characters... like random party members, but with all the stuff that they're used to. So like Terra would always have Morph and Locke would always have Steel. That felt a little too stale, but when I did like full randomization, like full random equipment lists, that was way too much. So we have characters, so their equipment sets are standard. Like Setzer is the only man who can use the dice. Minerva Bustier is only equipable by the ladies, but their commands will be, and their magic capabilities are randomized. And that hit a sweet spot for me. Atma Weapon is better. Random shops. Oh, you know what? I'm going to open up a notepad on my laptop so I can keep track of shops if I look at them. This looks correct. No Illuminas. I don't know why you would turn on no Illuminas. I'm not going to turn on no Illumina. I want some Illuminas up in here. You heard? Coliseum is going to be worth checking. No Illuminas false in the Coliseum. 2 items available at the auction house. This all looks right. I'm thinking. This looks pretty good. We fixed all the bugs so the game's not going to crash on us. Auto sprint. Name display. This all looks fine. Yeah. So yeah, scan all and warp all. So every character's going to have the scan and warp spell. So those are my flags. That took, what, 8 minutes to walk just through those? Let's look at the objectives here. So, in order to reach Kefka, I have to recruit at least 6 characters, find at least 12 espers, and defeat at least 4 dragons. If we do 10, 18, and 8, I unlock a tower skip where I can skip the final dungeon and go straight to Kefka. If we complete the Dome of Dream sequence, that unlocks all of the sword techs for whichever character has sword techs. If we complete the Magitech Factory, that unlocks Magitech Upgrade. Magitech is one of the commands that a character can use instead of having to have Magitech armor. If we clear Ebot's Rock, that will unlock all of the lores for whichever character's got blue magic. If we complete Mount Colts and the Phantom Train, we learn all the blitzes for whoever has blitz abilities. And that's that. So I guess we'll just go into config here. This all looks fine to me. I like it. Let's do a different No. It's not. I mean, I know it's Christmas, but we're not going to do that. No chocobos for Christmas. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, I don't like that. I don't like the palette swap on Setzer. I like having Setzer in the party, because that means some dice are in our future at some point. I do like that. All right, so we got Setzer, Realm, and Mog. First things first, let's find out which of these characters doesn't look terrible. Ooh, I like this, actually. I like Redheaded Realm. We might be running around with Redheaded Realm throughout this randomizer. Let's just take a quick look. Nope, don't like it. All right, so we've got Realm, Setzer, Mog. And they've all got some good starting... Well, not good, but they have some starting gear. It starts me out with 3 Moogle Charms. Let's go ahead and throw... Anybody can equip these. We don't have to put it on Mog. Let's see what commands we have. Capture. All right. Capture and steal. Tools. All right. So probably Mog is going to be a mainstay in our party. And it gave us a random tool. We rolled the chainsaw. You like to see that. So probably Mog's going to stick around for a bit. We do start with 1 Esper. Just 1? Yeah, 1. Phantom. So a Realm cannot equip the Phantom Esper since she's not allowed. Pearl at times 16. Ooh, I hope somebody can equip this. Nobody can equip it. So nobody can learn Pearl at times 16, unfortunately, yet. So, don't need a tracker for this randomizer. I love this option. They put the track stuff in here. The way that progress works is... Like, this tells us what we've done. We haven't done any checks. We've got 3 characters. We've got 1 Esper. We haven't defeated any dragons. Haven't defeated any bosses yet. Fine. But if we do checks, checks are unlocked per character in this randomizer, which is kind of the only way you could do it, I think. I've got, like, thoughts on the Final Fantasy randomizers and how some of the earlier Final Fantasy games work great for randomizers, but the later you go in the series, they kind of stop working as much. But the way they figured it out to do it for Worlds Collide is they just show you in-game where all of your open checks are. So all of these checks are just always open. We can always do these because they're not tied to any specific character, but because I have Mog, Realm, Setzer in the party, I have the Mog, Realm, and Setzer checks open. And I like this, Kalinjin Cafe. That's something we can check right away and go do. This, too, maybe. This will be a boss fight. This is the Doomgaze fight. Instead of having to fly around looking for Doomgaze forever, you can just click this, and Setzer will automatically find Doomgaze. It won't actually be Doomgaze. It'll be some other random boss. We might try that real quick. This is good. This is a check we can do right away with nothing... Actually, both of these, I think. Neither of these will be locked behind boss fights. So yeah, we have Narshe in our future. So yeah, let's get cracking on this. And if we check this, so you can go to the World of Ruin right away. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to go to Narshe first. We start outside of Narshe. Good, great and good. Because the first thing we want to do is just find some boxes and stuff. Actually, the first thing I want to do is save the game. Because the spiked treasure chests are randomized. So it's actually really common to get a random treasure chest in this room. A ribbon? You don't say. I think we'll go with Mog on that, because we need that for Chainsaw, and we're going to put you in the back. We're going to put everybody in the back, because these characters all belong in the back. Let's see if this monster in a box is a winnable fight for us. Yeah, this should be winnable-ish. Just get out there. Monsters should also have random steals, so maybe it's good that we're rocking capture up in here. Maybe we can get some stuff with capture going. A poison rod. I don't know about that, but... I don't... Oh, this like, Skeletor Setzer here. I'm not into it. I don't like... It's the palette randomizations in this randomizer are not terrific. Master Ninja... 4 Genji armors. Wow. That was a stacked box. I don't think any of these characters can use the Genji armor, can they? We can use the poison rod. Oh, he can use Genji armor. Oh, I love it. Okay, so Setzer... super survivable right now. So the Final Fantasy randomizers I'm most used to are the Final Fantasy 1 randomizer and the Final Fantasy 4 randomizer Free Enterprise. And both of those games work really well as randomizers, specifically because they're from kind of an old school sensibility of JRPGs, which are gated a lot by, instead of like plot flags or story progression, they are gated quite often by like physical items that you have to hold in your inventory, right? So like Final Fantasy IV actually has a system by which you talk to an NPC who wants to see a particular item, and then the game makes you pick that item off of a list. So yeah, this guy bouncing around here, this box would not be openable if I did not have Mog recruited. I don't need him in the party, I just need him recruited. Got some earrings, which will be... nothing keys off of magic for us yet. Does anybody want a gauntlet? What are we even equipped with? Do we put a gauntlet on Realm? We put a gauntlet on Realm, don't we? With a poison rod. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but we're doing it. Yeah, let's do it. There you go. Capture with a poison rod. So we're doing one of Mog's checks right now as we're following Lone Wolf around. So yeah, well, when you get into later Final Fantasy games, particularly Final Fantasy V, the randomizer for that game is called Career Day, and I think I want to buy... Let's buy 10 more Phoenix Downs. Can never have too many Phoenix Downs. Looks good to me. And then the Chrono Trigger randomizer... Chrono Trigger is a Final Fantasy game, by the way. If you're not aware, it's a Final Fantasy game, and if you don't agree, then you're wrong. I don't need any of these... Yeah, we don't need to worry about that. I don't think I can check that clock down. We can check a clock in here, though. Mithril knife. Great. But because Final Fantasy V and 6, most of what happens in the game, like locations become available to visit and unavailable again, kind of based on just plot progression in the game. What do we got here? Gold hairpin. I can't afford that, but I'm going to mark it that it's here. In fact, we're about to do the gold hairpin quest, because we're going to go follow Lone Wolf back into Narshe here in a minute. What you got for me? Homes. Sky Render's pretty good, but it really depended on whether or not we need to have Cyan in the party, and we don't have him yet. And we might not ever come back to get that Sky Render. Who knows? Force Armor's pretty good. Isn't it? Force Armor is only magic defense? Oh, you know what? I bet the randomizer fixes the famous magic defense bug in this game. Because the vanilla game has a bug whereby instead of checking your defense and magic defense... No, it's checking evade and magic evade separately as like two separate stats for physical and magical stats. It only checks magic evade. Who's coming out of the cave today? Up the top right up there. Somebody ought to be coming out of that cave. Maybe I gotta cycle the map so Lone Wolf's not there. What do we think? Is anybody in the cave? Is anybody up there? No? Nobody? Nobody's coming out of the cave? So what that tells me is that that's not a character there. When we eventually do check Umaro's cave, it won't be a character that we get. And also, like, this gate, we can't get through here. This is a Terra check. So once we recruit Terra, we could come back here and do that check. Cool. Actually, this is going to be a really long, stupid check to start the game with, isn't it? Because I can't cast Warp anywhere in Narshe to get out of Narshe. So I'm really just running all the way up this hill to do one check, and then I'm going to run all the way back. Because I do not value... You know, it's Christmas. I don't have to value anybody's time. It is 3:40 in the morning on December 20th is when I'm recording this. Oh, that's a character there. So what this is... I can do this already? Narshe Moogle defense. Yeah, tied to Mog. No, that'd be down in the cave. This is Narshe battle. Yeah, so this is just a vanilla check that's always open. I don't think I can clear it right now with 3 level 7 characters with no spells and no good abilities. So I think I'm going to leave. But once we do that Narshe battle, we will have Gogo recruited. So we know where Gogo is. This should be an item, then. Because we know it's not a character, because it's just a generic-looking soldier. And if it was an Esper, I think it would be an imp. So we can get a Dragon Horn if we go with him. You know what? I'm just going to take the soldier, because that Dragon Horn does not exactly light my panties on fire. And I'm pretty sure I can get that Dragon Horn anyway by just... Ah, there we go. Magicite. I thought Magicite was an imp and a soldier was an item, but I guess not. Can anybody equip Modwin today? No? Setzer can do it. What do we got on Modwin? X-Zone and Dispel. Oh, speed +1! What up? Great. Well, you're the only one who equipped this, so I guess we'll do that. And then we do this, because now you can summon Modwin and do a little bit of damage. Great. Great and good. Now we gotta walk all the way back out of Narshe. The problem with a randomizer when you're randomizing a game where the progression is typically gated by story progress, though, it becomes like really abstract. Like Final Fantasy V especially. Because that game, the randomizer, Career Day, it's fine. It's a fine randomizer, especially if you like Final Fantasy V, and I do. Who doesn't? But like Final Fantasy IV randomizer, all of your checks are gated behind items that you find that correlate to items that you would find in the vanilla game for the most part, right? Like, you find the Sand Ruby somewhere, you can go do the check in Kaipo, because in the vanilla game, you need the Sand Ruby in Kaipo to heal Rosa, heal her desert fever that she has. What check would I like to do next? So yeah, Lone Wolf Chase is done. Lone Wolf Moogle Room, what does this mean? You know what? I think I do know what that is. Hold on, I know I can do something here. Yeah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go up here. We're going to... First of all, there's a shop here we do need to check, which I forgot about. World of Balance Airship has a shop. He's on the other side. My man. He's got... nothing. Thanks. Thanks for absolutely nothing. But because the items in Final Fantasy IV correspond to items that you would find in the vanilla game, it's pretty easy to just kind of learn the game, right? As a randomizer as you go. Final Fantasy V, though, doesn't have that so much. So the randomizer had to kind of invent a bunch of items, like key items that don't make sense and you wouldn't find otherwise, in order to kind of keep up appearances. I think what this means is if I go over here now that we've done Lone Wolf, if we go into the caves in here and go into Mog's section, there will be a check there, and it will be a Dragon Horn. We get the Dragon Horn that he jumped off with. This way, because in the vanilla game, you're only allowed to get one of those two checks. Either you recruit Mog or you get a gold hairpin. We can buy a gold hairpin in Narshe if we come back later. Also, there's a few treasure boxes in here that I'm going to grab while I'm here. I like treasures. But yeah, the problem with the abstract randomizers, Final Fantasy V is pretty bad about it. Also, Chrono Trigger is pretty bad about it. There's my Dragon Horn. And we got his arena gown. Love it. Cannot cast warp in Narshe. Oh, I can in this part of Narshe. Get me out of here. Where are we going next? Alright, let's what checks do I have open? Moogle Defense is probably not gonna, that's World of Balance. Esper Mount, Owser's Mansion, that's a good one because I can get some levels there. I can do some normal fights and get some levels, and then we'll fight a boss. And it's great. So let's fly down to Jidor. I don't have any money to even check the auction house yet. Make sure you save. Always save. Oh, we can also do Doomgaze. Probably. Let's just check some shops. What's up in the shop today? Nothing I want. Very good. So yeah, that's why I think it's kind of smart that they hide it behind characters here, and that they put the tracker in the actual game. It makes this randomizer quite a bit more friendly to pick up and learn than the Final Fantasy V or Chrono Trigger ones. The Chrono Trigger one I pretty much just bounced off of. Like, I just could not get into it. I don't want any of those. Couldn't afford any of those if I did want them. But yeah, there's some encounters in here, and we don't have to worry about characters outside the party not gaining experience because they're just going to gain some experience. Every time we recruit a character, I believe they join at like the random, or at like the average character level. So it's great. And maybe we'll just be able to capture some good stuff. You don't know. A Punisher is actually going to be better for her than that Poison Rod, I believe. Like, I think that's just going to be a better item for her. And I don't even know if you can capture with a staff. I don't think anybody in the history of Final Fantasy VI has ever even tried it. I kind of wish we had the drill instead of the chainsaw. That'd have been nice, but... I mean, it is Christmas, but I don't think I should be asking for stuff. A Thief Glove, eh? Is that increased steal chance? Because if that is, that's exactly what I want to put on Red-Haired Realm's face. Glorious. Got another ribbon. What? I love a big rando. I love big, deep, stupid randomizer. Oh, she can't use the Thief Glove because she's not lock. That's pretty bad. Here, you put this on then. But yeah, we'll get some experience levels, which is pretty helpful. There's lots of treasures and stuff in here. I like doing this early if I can. Oh, I missed a box. Sniper. I done did got sniped. It's back here. Soul Sabber. I always forget which door to hear. Is it this one? Perhaps? Perhaps I did it correctly? Ah, I did. Alright, so these fights, that fight was pretty easy. We should be in good shape to just grab these. I should have bought a tent somewhere to try to heal back up before the boss. I did not do that. And actually, I think veterans are scary. Because can't they instant death your hot bee? Yeah, let's stack up those Thief Gloves. I need those. Let's make sure I get all those. Boo! Okay. Thanks. Thanks for that. I would love to start killing these monsters. Yeah, they're going to do some instant death on... Not instant death, but he's going to count me down. Oh, that's obnoxious. Yeah, these are rough monsters. I think you fight these in, where, Cyan's Dream, right? In vanilla. But that's why I bought all the Phoenix Downs. Like, you know you're going to need them, so stock up. Oh, I'm never going to get through this fight. This is too much. Too much. Unless we get the chainsaw comes out. Unless we get the chainsaw insta-death, and it works on the madam. It did not. We've been annihilated. Alright, so we know not to go in there yet. You know what? Sometimes that's how it be in a randomizer. Also, I am not efficient at this randomizer. I don't really know where all the good checks and everything are. Like, what checks to do early. So what I did earlier in the year when I was learning this randomizer, what I did is I put this and Free Enterprise and Career Day into a BizHawk shuffle. And did 3 at once. I did a couple of runs like that, just kind of getting a feel for it. It takes like 5.5 hours. Oh, I can do the Collision Cafe, and I can... Yeah, let's do all that stuff. Let's do all of Setzer's stuff. Setzer's stuff should be pretty... Let's see what kind of boss we get here. This is the Doomgaze fight. It's a dragon. We do need to kill some dragons. That's good. This dragon's going to kill us because it's going to use Earthquake on us, and we're going to die a terrible, terrible death. You just got a poison rod because, yeah, we didn't get that Punisher out of there. We better, because I'm pretty sure this thing's strong to poison damage, so I'm going to put the brush, I guess, is what it's going to have to be. I didn't put Modwin on him? I thought I did. Oh, this Earthquake's going to come out. It's not going to be fun. I don't have anything to heal with either. I got an Elixir, and that's it. This might be a death just because he's going to Earthquake us eventually. I know he doesn't have anything, but... Like, Realm's just a dirty little thief in this seed. That's all there is to it. That's not going to work. If I do get some Dragoon Boots, I can put that Dragoon Horn to work on... Mog. I forget, did I remove the Dragoon Boots and the flags, and then jump is just a command that gets shuffled onto a character? Because if that's the case, then I can't do that. I'm very used to turning Mog into a Dragoon when I play this game. Oh, you know what? I think I did give Modwin to Setzer, but he must not have enough MP to summon Modwin yet. He's only level 7. The bosses will scale with us, so the dragon should be defeatable unless it busts out that Earthquake spell. But he hasn't done it by now. We might just take him out 30 damage at a time, you heard? Let's do it. 30 here or 100 there, and if he actually does pop somebody off, we've got Phoenix Downs. This is probably death. Is this damage or confusion? What is this? Okay. But we know where there's a dragon, which is great. Alright, so the other 2 Setzer checks I've got, we'll go to Collision, we'll check the shops and stuff there. And that's just a free check. That's just a Setzer lets you just walk in and push a button. Which is exactly what you want to see. And we're going to reach a point where we just break into the seed once we're strong enough, and we'll just be batting down checks left and right. It's kind of how these randos go in Final Fantasy randomizers. It's like you kind of just bat your head against them until you kind of break into the seed, and then you're golden. And in Final Fantasy VI, there's a lot of ways to break into a seed. Are you Sabin? Oh, my boy. His palette's looking pretty nice, too. That's almost a vanilla-looking Sabin. That's like... Alright, first of all, Yeah, you've got Modwin, we just can't summon Modwin yet. Great. What do you have, my friend? X Magic. Can you equip... My man's gonna be dual casting Pearl. Oh, you'll love to see that. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're going to remove those. We're going to give you that. We need to go buy that gold hairpin. Because once he learns Pearl, we're going to be dual casting Pearl. That's excellent. And we got another character to play with. So that's good. That's good too. Hope. Yeah, I thought you were an item shop, my man. I guess not. Are there shops here? Yeah, here's shops. Got a lot of nothing. Should I buy some of these? These are like 150... Oh, I got potions. Let's buy... I'm so broke. I do need some potions. Like, we do have to have some healing for extended boss fights. Like, that's just a necessity. Alright, I'm not seeing anything there I want. What about you? I'm seeing... Oh, I'd love to have these. I'd love to have this, too. I can do without it. I'm not even going to mark down that that's there. And I think we got a... clock. An antidote. Perfect. Perfection. So what I was doing was Final Fantasy, like, rando shuffle with the Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6 randomizers. And I did a few different runs in order to try to... The goal was to try to find, like, decent randomization settings so the 3 games would kind of come out even, right? Because what the BizHawk shuffle does is I had it set to every 30 seconds to 3 minutes, it would shuffle between one of the games, right? So I'd have to play all 3 at once. I don't want to carve anything. I'm fine. I kind of always forget how to go through this dungeon, too. But I know there's a couple of boxes here. I don't want to turn this on yet. No, we've got to go downstairs first. And then we go in there and fire that up, I believe. Diamond armor. I mean, nobody wants it. I guess Sabin can't use it. Oh, that gives us Sabin checks too, though. Sabin's got good checks. We're going to look into Sabin checks after this, I believe. But yeah, I got it to the point where, like, each of the 3 games, I had them down to, like, between 2 and 3 hours. Because I like a really trolly randomizer, right? Like, I like to randomize a bunch of stuff if possible. The problem was... Like, I would get into a shuffle where I would break into 2 games, usually 4 and 6, and then Final Fantasy V would take forever. Because that's one of that, like, the randomizer in Final Fantasy V, I don't want to say it, like, doesn't work, because obviously it does work. I have completed Final Fantasy V Career Day Seeds. It's fine if you like Final Fantasy V. It's just really swingy. Like, it's a big boy variable whether, like, you get something that'll clear a lot of stuff in World 1 of Final Fantasy V, or you're just stuck forever banging your head against it, right? And then the completed rando shuffle would usually take around 5 hours or 6. Like, I think I had one that was 6 hours, and it was just too much time for the Christmas video. So I was planning for most of the year, I'll do like a 6-hour Christmas video, whatever. But then as December wore on, I'm like, I gotta get this recorded. Can I beat this one? Oh, it's the same one. Yeah, we can beat this one. We're fine. Do that. Do this. Do a chainsaw. I guess you're just fighting for now, Sabin. Oh, she can't damage these things if they've got the poison rod on. That's no good. I'll steal more poison rods, though. Whatever, I'll do it. Don't kill me, don't kill me. Okay, we're fine. Sometimes that drain spell just absolutely demolishes you. Poison Claw, okay. That's not going to be any good against these monsters, but that is a better claw for Sabin to start out with. I need to make sure Sabin's in the front row, at least until I learn. Oh, never mind, there's Pearl. He is good on that, then. 3 more Genji armors. I'll bet I can sell those for, like, mad cash, right? Alright, let's actually heal up a little bit. You can't... How many times can you cast Pearl? He can't. At all. I can give you the ether that I found. Let's do that. Alright, so you can cast it once. But he's got earrings, so we'll make it pop. And then we go buy that gold hairpin, then he can cast it twice. That's the plan. That's the plan, Daddy. Red Cap sleeps here. Oh, so we're going to get a red cap for this. I think that's armor for Sabin, actually. We just got to fight Kefka. What up, my dude? You know what? Let's do this. Why not? We'll scan him and then we'll pearl him. We got the X magic. We might as well. So, actually, I was thinking earlier, I think I might have said that the bosses scale based on your level, but I don't think it does. I think it scales based on how many bosses you kill. So every time we defeat a boss, the remaining bosses will get a little tougher. I think that's how this randomizer works. It's a very complicated and very robust randomizer. There's a lot going on behind the scenes here. An X-Ether, so I could hit that pearl again. You know what? I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. There we go. Yeah, let's just make it happen. Pearl is holy, by the way. I do wish that the randomizer would use a more modern translation. I guess I understand why it doesn't. A lot of people who are really into randomizers are also kind of like adamant about playing the original like translation of the game if possible. You need to actually come up to the front row if you're going to be stabbing this boy from now on. Don't kill me, please. Now, I've got Phoenix down, so I guess it's not terribly bad if he does. You can't... No, it doesn't have enough MP to bring out Modwin. But we should have this in the bag. I don't think Hefka can do anything else that's like super scary to us. You don't have anything. Okay, so we're done with Kefka. He's going to run off. What did you drop? A Mega Elixir. Woo! And we get the red cap. Okay. Love it. Yeah, that's good for you. Okay, so you can't even use Phantom, so you might as well keep Modwin. Unless Sabin can use it. He can't. So we might as well just keep these. I mean, he's getting 10% MP bonus on level up. So, yeah, let's go buy that gold hairpin. That's our next move. I gotta walk back to the airship. I do have random encounters turned off. I'm pretty sure that's a... No, I don't have random encounters turned off in the menu. I've got a Moogle Charm equipped. That's how it works. We gotta go back to Narshe. We gotta do it in the World of Balance. Let's go get some refreshment first. Oh, we gotta do that in the World of Balance too. There is no refreshment in the World of Ruin. I was about to do a gag where I'm like, let's get some refreshment while I drink a glug of my ice cold delicious Pepsi, which I have sitting here, and I picked up the Pepsi, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I can't refresh in the game, so I can't refresh in real life. That's how that works, right? And then I think some Sabin checks are in the cards. But first we're going to buy a gold hairpin. We're going to buy a gold hairpin for Sabin that will half his MP consumption. That's just awesome because I'm dual casting Pearl, baby. But yeah, after I played a few seeds of this randomizer, I really did started to get into it. And now I do think I really like it. It's really chill, right? Like it's sometimes like you always have enough checks open that you're gonna find a good check that you can do somewhere, right? You're never gonna get like just molly-whopped. Oh man, I can sell all of these. Yeah, let's sell 4 of these. And let's just start buying everything that I think I might need. Like, I might need that if I find cyan. I really just want the gold hairpin, though. Glod hairpin. Great. Alright, so Sabin, you are rocking the earrings and the gold hairpin. You love it. Cool. Yeah, because even free Enterprise, you can get really bottlenecked sometimes if you do really trolly flags like I do. But I don't think you can ever get, like, just totally bottlenecked in this. I think you always have decent checks open. Esper Mountain. Okay, I know what that is. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, look at everything Sabin can do. He's got all of the good stuff. So, we can, if we do both of these, we can actually, once we find a character who has Blitz, they'll have Bum Rush. So I think I'm going to do that next. Let's get that Bum Rush going. So we're going to go down to Mount Colts first. Now Colts is over here. Do this check. And by the way, my objective here is I need 6 characters, 12 espers, 4 dragons. So I do have to find dragons, and I know where one is. So basically I'm being hard incentivized to check anywhere that there's a boss, because dragons can be anywhere. They don't have to be in the dragon spot. In fact, one of the dragon checks is in the World of Ruin Opera House is just open from the beginning. It's not tied to a character at all. It's just one of the checks you can do. And quite often, that boss will be something you can just kill with your starting 3 characters, which is nice. Another Phoenix down. That's one of the problems in Final Fantasy V randomizer, is just not having revival equipment. Just if you can't find Phoenix downs anywhere. The other thing about Final Fantasy V, the career day, I almost call it a job fair. I always want to call it the job fair randomizer. It's not job fair, it's career day. In Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy VI, Marvel shoes, what? Yeah, I don't want to give it to you because you need both of those relics. But yeah, I think we give that to you. Because that's haste and protect and shell. So that's hasted chainsaw on Magort there. Good old Magort. Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy VI, most of what you're like picking up in the game are in treasure boxes, right? Or treasure box equivalents. Items, equipment, that kind of thing. And anything like the second level prizes, so like summon magic or moon weapons from Final Fantasy IV, or like magicite shards in Final Fantasy VI, I guess you could think of as like second tier treasures, because they're not like basic equipment, they're like more powerful than basic equipment, right? And then you can tie those to actual randomizer checks, and it feels really good. At least it feels really good to me. Final Fantasy V, though, the randomizer feels stale if you don't randomize jobs and abilities. But if you do randomize jobs and abilities, then you have a problem, because then a lot of treasure boxes and things fill up with jobs and abilities and items, and there's not enough treasures to go around. And what ends up happening is you kind of have to shop, right? Like you kind of don't have a choice. You kind of have to shop just in order to make the seed work. So Mog can't be seized here because seize applies slow, and Mog cannot be slowed because he's hasted because of the Marvel shoes. I think one of these tentacles is just straight up weak to holy, but I don't know which one. One of them absorbs poison, one of them absorbs fire, I want to say, or something like that. You do see a lot more summons in the randomizer. You almost never summon monsters in vanilla Final Fantasy VI, but sometimes it's just your best option for dealing damage in the rando, so it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to randomize and do things that you wouldn't do in the main game. That's kind of what the whole point of a randomizer is, right? Okay, so my boy got seized. You don't want to see that. Let's see if we can tear him out of here. My other boy's about to get seized. I don't think we know what this check is yet. It's either... So there's 3 kinds of checks. There's characters, there's items, and there's magicite. And they're all just kind of shuffled together. So in locations where you might find an item in the vanilla game, you'll find one of the other things instead. Which is pretty nice. It means there's a lot of places to put checks, and it's... If you randomize it like I do, you go real trolly with it, it gets really robust. Wow, that one tentacle went down super fast, and the rest of them are just going to take forever. Fine. Okay, so we've poisoned that one. Good. Oh, okay, Sabin's gonna throw the Phoenix down. Like, how come my Phoenix down never came out? It's because Sabin got picked up by Tentacle Charlie over there. Why can't I select... There we go. It's weird when you're in side battles like this. Your selection cursor kind of goes nut sandwich sometimes. I don't think I need to steal from any more of these. I don't have any more magic, do I? I can bolt. I can X magic bolt. Let's do it. Happy to do it. We'll see if I can get some work done with earring boosted double cast bolt. That's what we need to do here to finish off this fight, right? Brick Road, how come you didn't upload any videos this year? I know, I kind of left you guys hanging, didn't I? On that, Oh, my butthole just clenched! That's what you want to see! Oh, I don't care about no flame shield, buddy! Oh, come to daddy! Oh, come all the way to daddy. My precious. You know what? I do want you to have this. What was the check? I wasn't even paying attention. What was the check? It was a flame shield. Cool. So I don't actually want to leave out this way because then I'll be stranded from my airship. So that counted as the Mount Colts check, right? Let's just make sure that that's the case. Yes, and now I want to go do Phantom Train. So warp me out. Red-haired realm. Glorious. Whew. Yeah, I did kind of leave you guys hanging on the Outer Wilds and the Ultima 4 Let's Plays. At some point, I started the Donkey Kong Country 2 series, and I just didn't get to the end of that either. I put up a video earlier this year called I Accidentally Wrote a Book, just talking about my experience writing my first novel. And immediately after I uploaded, I think even in that video, I think I told you guys dirty, dirty lies. I think I even might have said, like, oh, I'm going to get back to uploading videos soon. I feel really good now. And then I didn't do that. That's my bad. But no, I spent the second half of the year writing the second book. So I hit all of my writing goals for this year. I've got 2 drafted novels, 113,000 words. I think one is 110. Here, I can check, actually. I've got them open in my... in my Google Docs. I'm going to make sure I get the numbers right. Yeah, let's see here. 100,000 words for the first novel, 113,000 words for the sequel, and then that's 20 chapters written from a 40-chapter outline. This is going to be a 4-novel series, and I spent all my time this year writing and revising and polishing those. So hopefully, my next step is try to find representation. To find an agent who's like, yeah, I want to publish Brick Road. I'm going to help Brick Road publish his novels. That'd be great. So if you haven't seen that video, I just played Final Fantasy IV for a while, and it's Umaro! I mean, I don't not want Umaro in the party. Let's take a look here. Actually, I think I do want this party. Like, nothing Umaro can do. Oh, so one thing I want to do is take off his... I think he's got a snow muffler that I would love to take off and give to Mog. But I don't think I can get to his equipment screen without putting him in the party. But if I put him in the party, then he's in the party. And... yeah, I don't think we can take him right now. But we have Umaro. Oh, and we got all our blitzes. Beautiful. I guess that's the check. We still have to go through the whole Phantom Train, but that's the check, I suppose. So once we do find which character has the blitz command, they will have access to all the blitzes. Beautiful. If you wanted to check out that video called I Accidentally Wrote a Book, and I explain why I accidentally wrote a book, it also goes into a little bit about what the book is about, my kind of experiences writing it, and some thoughts on like the world building process and everything. What I have now is I've got the first 2 novels drafted. So that was a harrowing experience. And then I've got 2 more that I need to do. I don't think we need to double cast you, but I would like you to die very quickly if possible. Thank you. Please and thank you. See if maybe the fixed dice need to come out and do some work. Is that going to work? No. Alright, you know, fixed dice did come out and do some work. Beautiful. But, yeah, that's... so that means I wrote those 2 books in the span of 1 year. In the span of 12 months. I started writing in December of 2022. I just finished the draft for the second book a couple of days ago. And... so, yeah, I've proven to myself that I can do that. The next step is to prove to myself that I can... maybe not keep up that writing pace, but fulfill some writing goals while also working on the video stuff. So that's really my goal for next year, I think. And also, I have to stop writing right now because the actual next step is to find representation. Is to find someone who can publish the book. That's not going to be fun. I'm terrible. I don't want to sit in the chair. That's the cutscene we don't need to watch. We do need to get these 2 boxes, though. I do like this. I do. I want it in my face. I think we're going to give it to you. No, we're going to give it to you because you do have 1 magic spell. I am terrible at marketing myself. Like, I'm awful. Like, I don't have to, like, I can prove it. I can prove the math. I've had this YouTube channel since 2008 and I still haven't broken 5,000 subscribers. Like, I'm terrible at marketing myself. There's a 0% chance that I could, like, self-publish my book and get it to people who could read it. I have to have somebody publish it and do that work for me. I've also had terrible nightmares, like severe anxiety over the idea of having to market a book. 'Cause I know that, like, publishers want you to do, like, a press junket. They want you to do, like, interviews. They want you to, like, go to conventions or whatever. I don't want to do any of that. I want to do 0% of any of that. But, like, those are problems that future Brick Road needs to worry about. Present Brick Road needs to focus on, finding someone who can help me publish the book, finding an agent, which is going to require just a lot of emails and a lot of luck and just waiting and waiting and waiting and a lot of rejection letters. Well, that process is I already have a nice little pile of rejection letters going, looking pretty good over there. So that's what I'm going to be spending next year doing. And I've told myself I'm going to be splitting my time between hunting down an agent and also writing book 3. I want to have book 3 done by this time next year. That's the plan. I think we need to go full hog on these cats, don't we? We need to really make sure we can bring them down. Because, yeah, I think these guys they'll get real tough if you let them, and I don't want to let them. He's got a knife! They don't do something stupid like absorb holy, do they? Why do I have a residual memory that these guys absorb holy element? They don't. No, we're fine. They counterspell. That's interesting. Sabin's probably dead. That's why I bought them Phoenix Downs. Oh, that one didn't counterspell, though. I think we do it again, don't we? Oh, we gotta save some for the... I have an ether. Yeah, you know what? Let's do this again, because I'm actually scared of these guys a little bit. Oh, yeah, that got confusing, because the one pug died while I was selecting the other pug, and my cursor jumped around in a weird way. Wasn't sure which collection I had done. Best to just back out and try again when something like that happens. But yeah, I'm really excited to actually have a fantasy novel written and, like, ready to be published. Still got to go through, like, an editor. I've had people read it and look at it. I finished the draft for book 2 like 2 days ago, and yesterday the first person had already read it. I have a stable of readers who are going to go through and help me just by taking a look at it, give me feedback, get some beta reader eyeballs on it. My man just blitzed it, just threw the whole novel in one day, just tore it up, 260 pages or whatever it is, in one day. We had a nice long conversation last night, a good conversation, just going through all the stuff that he liked and all the stuff that he didn't like and what he would improve, just bouncing ideas, and it just feels really, really good to have that done. It does not, I'm going to admit, feel really, really good to look at my YouTube channel and see that I haven't uploaded anything. And I've got, especially, you know what hurts? You know what really hurts? It hurts might be the wrong word, because I thought this was the Switch. No, okay, first and 3, then the smokestack. What hurts is that it's Outer Wilds, right? That I abandoned Outer Wilds halfway. It's not dead. I still have the footage. It's still, I can go ahead and edit it and get it uploaded. Like, it's coming. That sucks. We're going to be throwing a lot of Phoenix Downs out in this fight, I believe. But I don't think we have to actually do any healing, because why bother if you can do 1,000 damage? Yeah, it's like Outer Wilds, one of my favorite video games ever, and I didn't do it any justice. I started a Let's Play and didn't finish it. I'm gonna finish it. It's gonna get finished. My goal is, because a week from you're watching this on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, by the way, guys, or whatever your seasonal holiday of choice is. There's a whole bunch of them. You can pick whichever one you want, or if it's just like Sunday, that's fine too. Is it Sunday or Saturday? I think it's Monday, actually. I think Sunday is Christmas Eve, and then Monday... I don't know. Days are hard, and I don't even know all of them. I only know the ones that end in Y. 2 of my guys are dead. Also, I think I'm trapped in here in the Phantom Train. So if I can't kill this monster, we might actually be in big boy trouble. I have an Elixir. I'm going to throw an Elixir at Sabin so we can do a whole bunch more double cast Pearl. Because if we're in big boy trouble here, we'll do this. Ah! Everybody's dead. Yeah. Okay, we might be in big boy trouble, because we can't leave this dungeon once we're in it. We have to defeat this dragon. And we can, it's just we can't just steamroll it. We actually do have to try a little bit. So what I'm going to do is throw an Elixir at my boy. It ate the Elixir even though it didn't... Aw, that was mean. That's a mean trick. Let's do this then. We'll get 2 pearls out. Actually, that was almost a full heal. That Ether did the business. That put me back in the game. All right, do I have anything? I bought potions, yes. Drink a potion, that's 250. We should have enough potions at Phoenix Downs to keep Sabin on his knees and keep throwing these pearl spells out there. That's my plan. That's my plan. And then on turns where Sabin doesn't need the heal, which he is going to need the heal right here. Oof. Wind Slash is tearing me up. Don't like it. I've got Force Armor and stuff, and I might have a Thunder Shield. I have to check. The trick is going to be to keep Sabin alive. Okay, I'm going to throw this fight away, and we're going to come back equipped better. We might just get lucky. We might get lucky, and I might have 18 hit points left. You never know. And I forget if dead characters gain experience or not. Come on, you're not going to do it like that, Mog. Dead. Okay. That's fine. That's okay. Now that we know... Sometimes that's how this randomizer goes, because you need certain equipment sets to fight certain bosses. Like that boss, you need wind protection, or you're not going to win. But I do think we have some decent wind protection, don't we? Once we get past this title screen again. I think we actually do have a little bit. Maybe nothing I can put on Sabin, though. Alright, let me see here. We have Force Armor. 50% damage from wind, and only Setzer can use it. So, let's start there. Like, that's going to be helpful. What is a Flame Shield? Does that have any wind protection on it? Ooh, don't save. I don't need to save again. No wind protection. Teaches fire 2. Oh, he learned fire 2. I got that. Okay, so no wind protection. I'm going to give that to you. That's what I'm going to do? So you learn fire too, right? I thought I had a force shield or a thunder shield or something. One more. Nobody else can use the force armor, huh? All right. What I need to do here then is let's go into the fight. I have a sleeping bag or anything. I got 2 tonics. Let's use these up. We'll just go in with everybody full, and we'll go in with the ether already thrown on Sabin. Modwin equipped. Phantom equipped. Summoning Phantom. That's not going to help with Wind Slash. That'll help with a physical hit, but the physical hits aren't the one that's killing me. Okay, so no, I'm not going to waste Sabin's turn with Summoning Phantom. But if we go in at full health, we should get like 2 turns out of Sabin, right? Dual casting Earring, boosted Pearl. So I don't even think I healed before I came in here. Because a lot of bosses I wouldn't have had to. The Storm Dragon is scaled down to, like, really, really weak. But he still has Wind Slash, which is never a great idea. I think we did poison him, though, which is excellent. Big numbers. Big numbers on the fixed dice. You'll love to see it. Maybe Realm should be dedicated to throwing out potions if we need to. Maybe that's the beans. Realm is a potioner. I don't know if poison wears off on bosses or on monsters in this game. And if so, maybe it's better that she does try to reapply poison each turn. That was it. Yeah, we just had to come in with gas in the tank. That was perfect. Perfectly well. Perfectly well. This guy's going to give us... First of all, he's going to give us a ton of stuff. Some level ups. New dance. Bard's hat. Probably don't need to equip that at all. Sabin still has a couple other easy checks, though. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we can do all these. In fact, the camp is up here. Just keeping an eye on Sabin's MP, because we're kind of living and dying on Sabin's MP right now in dual casting Pearl. Check some boxes. So so the process of finding a literary agent whose job would then be to help me get the book published, right? Like their job is to have it connect with the publisher, and then like probably the whole list of things you got to do. But to find representation, somebody whose job it is to market the book for me, because I'm terrible at it. So part of that process is just emailing agents, being like, hey, I've got a book. It's this long. It's in this genre. And ideally, like, you would say something like, here's stuff I've published before. I haven't published a book before. This would be my first one. Like, here's all the awards that I've won. I've never won an award in my life. You know? Here's where I went to college. I didn't. Like, so I don't get to say any of that in my letters. I just have to kind of throw myself upon the mercy of these people. But that's what you do, is you send out the email, and eventually you find somebody who's like, okay, yeah, send me the manuscript. And they read the manuscript, and if they like the manuscript, they're like, all right, let's see if we can get this done. So I've started this process, and I've had 2 very interesting versions of being rejected. I don't know that I like this. I don't know that I like this even a little bit. What's the problem here? These are really powerful monsters. We might be drinking our Mega Elixir before we're out of here. Well, let's see what we can, if we can do any work with Fire 2. We'll start there. See, I've had two really interesting versions of being rejected. So the first couple of rounds of these query letters I've sent out, right, they just reflect, just straight up reflected, we're just going to die. Like, that's cool. The most common kind of reject, you get ghosted. You send them, they're not interested, and these people are getting, I was reading this, like something like 20 to 30, some of them will get unsolicited emails every day, people looking to publish books. It's a really, really tricky market. Luck-based, you might say. So you need to be in the front row then, if you're going to be clawing. If you're going to be Claw Daddy. So yeah, of the 20 or 30 emails they read, mine has to stand out. So most often what they do is they just, I'm assuming, like I'm not a literary agent, but I've been in office environments where part of my job was to check emails. And if I had more than 4 or 5 emails in a day, I would just like zone out. I got a Genji glove. Can I do anything with a Genji glove? I don't think so. I don't think a Genji glove is going to avail me of literally anything. The best I could do would be give it to Realm, and she has 2 rods now. That's, you know, it's probably better than a gauntlet though. Why not? Let's. Oh, 2 brushes. We didn't even have the rod equipped. Oh, a flail. That's back row okay. Yeah, that'll be good. That's good for her. She's... I'll get back to it. So, I got a very interesting, quote-unquote, rejection letter from one of these agents. And the thing you have to understand is there's a lot of literary scams out there, especially in the self-publishing industry. There's a lot of just... like vanity press kind of stuff, right? Like, hey, if you pay us $5,000, we can publish your book. Well, yeah, what that means is like they'll take whatever you give them, do no quality control or anything on it, do no marketing, and like literally give you a box of published books that it is then your prerogative to try to find a way to get on shelves or sell somewhere. And maybe they have a clause like, and then we'll list it on Amazon for you or something like that. And vanity presses are awful because like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed writers are really easy to trick. It's really, really, really easy to get a creative to sign an agreement that just legally and financially screws them. And there's a million ways to do this. And not all of them are scams. Some of them are just the way the business works. But vanity presses, they're not interested in helping you sell your book. They're interested in taking your money and then publishing however many copies of it you want. So you're basically buying your own book from them is kind of the idea. You can't put on Ifrit. You can. Meteor, Quick, and Float, and Speed +1. Yo, you're stacked. Sabin can't use it. Oh, that's... So now what I can do is I can have Setzer cast Quick on Sabin and then have Sabin do 4 Pearl spells in a row. Sweet. Barren Falls, I guess we'll do next. And we're going to have to get some refreshment on the airship, because we're running out of the MIPS. So yeah, I went into the process. I already knew about like vanity press kind of stuff. I already know there's a lot of literary scams out there. So like what I told myself was, you know what, the line is, if anybody asks me for money at this stage, like shut it down. Like don't do it. I shouldn't be paying anybody at this stage for anything. Like if I've written something that's worth publishing and can be placed in a market, then somebody else will be excited to help me publish it. That's just the reality of the situation. And then the way that works is they get paid royalties based on, like they give me money up front and then they get paid royalties on the back end. Like it's a whole business thing that I very barely understand. But you want to incentivize the person whose job it is to publish the book. They need to be incentivized to actually go out and sell the book. Like, you want to create a situation where they don't get paid unless they make sales. Vanity Press, if you pay them up front, here's $5,000, this is how many copies of my book that I want, they don't have to do anything. Like, maybe, we'll list it on Amazon Kindle for you. These guys, no, I don't know about these guys. I know I hate them. I know I hate them a lot. Here, let's just start throwing stuff out there. Eventually what's going to happen is one of them, I think the top one uses Life 3, which is terrible and is not what I'm into, but... So that was my line. Like, if they ask me for money, I know that... And that's not a hard and fast rule, because I do know that there are legitimate services out there. Like, there are actually like freelance editors who can do editing work for you, help you revise. Like, those kind of services exists because there is such a big self-publishing market. They're not all scams, but I'm dumb. I didn't go to college, and like I coasted through high school. We're talking like a low B average. Like, I can get my shoes tied on the second try sometimes, but yeah, I'm the dumbest man in this room right now, for sure. So I don't trust myself to like navigate, to judge for myself what is and isn't a scam in that kind of situation. So that was my line. Like, if they're going to ask me for anything, I need to shut it down and not go that way. So what happened was, I got an email back from one of these. I was emailing what I thought was a literary agent. I don't know if this guy was a scammer or if he was like a literary agent and he like he has, my headcanon is like he's got a side hustle, right? Like, he gets his 20 emails a day. If he finds something that he like doesn't want to pursue, but like maybe he sells it off to the scammer. I don't know. That sounds like the kind of scam you could run if you're a borderline successful literary agent. I don't know. But what happened was I got an email back, not from the person that I emailed, but from somebody else saying like, oh, I gotta kill the top one first. I knew it. I said it. I knew it. I didn't do it. I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man, and now Mog needs healing. Grody. So yeah, I got an email, not from the agent, but from somebody else. So it had, and I know that it was passed off from one of the agents that I emailed. Had to have passed it off to this third party that I got an email back from, because they said, hey, we see you're looking for representation to publish, and then they used the book's title of the first novel that I'm shopping around. Now, at that time, nobody knew the title of the novel. Nobody. I knew it, and the agents that I was emailing knew it. Because in my letter, it's like, hey, this is my novel, this is what I'm calling it, this is how long it is. But the only other people who have access to the work are the beta readers, the people that I've went to and said, hey, help me read this and make sure that it's good, right? No! That's probably fine. He's got lots of hit points. Dead! Not fine. What's the opposite of fine? Fin. He got finned. So yeah, nobody in the world knows the actual working title of the novel at the time, because I had a joke title on my Google Doc, which is what I was sharing around to my beta readers, the people who are reading the book. Which is funny because the joke title cannot be the title of the book. Like, can't do it. I'm gonna die here and then have to redo this fight, I think. Because I can't pearl that front guy anymore. We gotta get good fixed dice on him, I think. We just did. Okay, okay. Not terrible, not terrible. Yes, okay, we're out. We're out. We're clear. We're out. We got it. Give me some levels. Setzer got quick. Setzer got float. Setzer got meteor. Setzer got fire. Oh, Looking sexy. Looking sexy. So yes, one of my beta readers was like, you cannot title the book that. Once they've learned, because it's a nonsense word that has meaning in the universe of the book, but the meaning in the universe of the book is not appropriate for a book title. So it's a funny thing to like put on the Google Doc. And it's kind of funny to have it like my hard drive, the directory that all of the writing materials is named. But it's not an appropriate title for the book. And I have one person who's like, you cannot call the book that. My wife read it. You cannot call it that. Please don't call it that. And then I had one reader who's like, you definitely need to call it that. That's hilarious. Not doing it. But when I'm shopping the book out to actual people who might be able to publish it, obviously I'm not going with the joke title, right? I'm going with the working title of the book, which I'm not going to say in this video. You'll have to wait, and hopefully someday I'll get published and you'll be able to see it for yourself. I need to check Siren. We just got it. But this person who I did not email and who I had not heard of before, Merton Slow Ultima, eh? Mog with Ultima. And a big boy Ultima, too. That's times 10. So we're going to have Ultima rocking here in a minute. Where was that? Hold on. Yeah, we got float now. Where was that dirt dragon at? We got big levels now. It was... We do the collapsing house. Oh, search the skies. It's right here. Yeah, let's just go to the world of ruin. Yeah, we'll just search the skies real quick. Great. Because I don't think his earth attacks can do anything to us if we're floating. And we are now. Great. I think he can remove float, but then I can just recast it. Perfect. So the email was like, hey, we're interested in helping you publish, name of title that they shouldn't know because I've never told anybody yet except for potential agents. So that was like immediately I'm super suspicious. Like, who is this person? And we get into the conversation and it's really starting to sound like it's a vanity press. It's like, here, like, you pay us this much, we can help you find an artist. Do like a cover for the book, you pay us this much, we could list you on Amazon. And so I told them, like, I'm not interested in that kind of, because I'm trying to hedge my bets, right? Like, I'm trying to be like, because like I said, I'm stupid. I don't know enough about the industry to make good decisions. So I'm trying not to completely write the person off. This is like the first or second actual response that I've gotten. So, but it becomes clear over the course of the email chain that, like, yeah, that it's just a vanity press. They're just wanting me to pay them so they can physically make some copies of the book. And, yeah, I told them, like, I'm not interested in this. I'm sorry. And then they sent me an email response back that put me out of commission for 2 days. The human brain is so strange, especially if you have, if you struggle with depression sometimes, like I do, because the dumbest things can set off like a depression spiral. The dumbest things can just put you on your butt. Like, I know intellectually, right? This is a scam. This person is trying to get me to commit to their vanity press so they can make, what was the quote? It was like $4,000 something, I think. I can't remember, but like, I know that that's all that they're interested in. They're not actually interested in publishing the book. They're not interested in any of that. They're not interested in marketing it. They're just interested in making the money off of me. And then I'm stuck. Then I'm out of the money with a book that I can't market. So the book title, the working title, does not have the word mural in it. You know, like a mural, right? Like you see a mural on a wall. It's not about murals. The word mural is not anywhere in the title, but there is a word that looks like mural in the title that is, again, a fantasy word that makes sense in universe. So we got that done. That's the Valiant knife. I think we'll save that. And yeah, he sends an email back, the last email that I got, saying like, oh, we're sorry that you've decided to not pursue publishing, and then puts the name of the book but gets it wrong and says mural when the word mural is not in the title. So That email destroyed my soul. Like, even intellectually, I knew, like, this is a scam. This is not something worth pursuing. This guy's just trying to hustle me. But just seeing that line, like, we're sorry you're not interested in pursuing the... Like, I'm totally interested. Like, I'm trying to. Knocked me out for a couple days. I can take this guy's snow muffler now. Yeah. Gimme. I'll just put you in the party here. We'll take everything. And then just throw you out. Yeah. Great. Because that's going to be excellent armor for Magort. Look at that. Yeah. In fact, let's just go ahead and do a quick optimum around the clock here. Oh, somebody does have a bard's hat. Look at that. Hopefully we'll find a character we can replace into Realm's slot. Because I love Realm, but not doing a lot for me here, sweet cheeks. Not just yet. Where are we going next, actually? Narshe Moogle Defense might be possible now. Realm's got some stuff. Owzer's Mansion. Let's go to the Collapsing House next. Got Umaro's Cave we can do. That'll finish up part of Narshe. And then all of this stuff. I wonder if we could do this. Oh, no. I see what we're going to do next. We're going to go to the World of Ruin. We're going to go... Oh, we're going to do the Collapsing House anyway. So, yeah, we got to go to 10 anyway. Cool. That's over here. Yeah, down here. But it was just weird. Like that shouldn't have bothered me, right? Like, that should have been... Like, oh, you know, this scammer took a pot shot across the bow as he realized he wasn't going to get me on the hook, right? Like, that shouldn't have bugged me. I should have been able to laugh it off. I could not laugh it off. Really, it really did put me out for a couple days. Like, I spent a couple days feeling, like, just awful about it. Probably I want to buy this. Yeah, let's buy it. Let's get a whole bunch more potions. Let's get some softs. Let's get some revivifies. Let's get a bunch more potions. Because I don't have any healing magic yet. Tinctures. These are MP, right? Oh, yeah. I want a bunch of these. Let's get a bunch of those. Okay. So as far as curatives go, we've got something happening here. Do I want this? I'm not going to worry about that. I think there's better... We might find better armor out there somewhere. So that was a really fun rejection letter to get. And then another one that I got, which was helpful. It was helpful. It's very... Like, one of the problems is going through... Like, you get rejected, but you don't know why you got rejected. Like, they don't explain it. They don't take you aside and be like, hey, man, this is why we weren't looking into it. They don't have time for that. New Magicite. Who can equip it? Realm can... Finally, we got something we can... And it's good for nothing. Well, whatever. You can have it for now. Good for absolutely nothing. Yeah, they're getting 20 of these emails a day. Like, they don't have time to take everybody aside, like, explain in detail. Like, this is why you're... Like, they're not grading me on a paper that I've submitted, right? So, you can't actually expect to see the kind of feedback that you desperately need if you're trying to sell a book. So, but this, I did get one that was helpful. I think I'm going to use Bioblaster here, actually. On the big boy pug. Okay, we're not going to die to step mine. That's always a possibility. And we did get him poisoned, which is good. But this, I got, it was just one line of feedback, and it just says, like nobody's going to take you seriously if you don't put comparison titles in your email. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what a comparison title is. So I did some more research. I thought I had already done research in, like, how do I shop my book around? Like, I'd already done that. I thought you can never do enough research, it seems. So what he was saying was, what I need is a comparison title. I need to be able to say in the pitch mail, like, my book is like this other book by this other author. Okay? So I'm writing a heroic fantasy novel, I need to be able to say, like, my book is like Lord of the Rings. You can't actually use Lord of the Rings as an example. For a whole host of reasons, it would be a bad comparison title. But how many times have I thrown Pearl at this pug and seen a 0 pop up? That's my next question to y'all. Am I ever going to learn my lesson? Here, let's X magic. I don't know what'll hit him. Dice and chainsaw will hit him. Oh, he's using wall change. That's what the problem is here. Okay, that makes more sense now. So we might get a hit off of fire 2. We might not. It's just... So I might as well keep throwing Pearl then. Until the MIPS are out. But yeah, like, agents and publishers, they want to be able to look at a letter and be like, okay, they're comparing it to these other books that are already in the market. Let's take a look at how those books performed. And I think now I can give you a Morning Star. So she's back row okay now. Not terrific, but better than she was. Look and see how my MIPS are holding. By the way, there is a timer in this scene in vanilla, but I've got the timers turned off. I don't ever want to see a timer in a randomizer. I don't know anybody who ever would. So we're not. And that's it. That's it. No timers. Can I confuse you? Do I have muddle? I do not have muddle. I know you don't have muddle. Why do they even check? Siren can muddle. I do have muddle. Someone's got Siren. Yeah, okay, let's make these... Alright, let's wait on your turn, then. Wait for these pearls to come out. If we can get you muddled, you'll just kill yourself. So, the comparison title... There's a lot of, like, unwritten rules about what does and doesn't make a good comparison title. So you want something that's kind of in your genre. Grand Train? Really? Alright, I survived it. This should muddle him. This should confuse him. It did not. Okay. So apparently Siren does not do the thing that I thought the Siren does. Whoops. So yeah, what you want to be able to compare, like, it's in my genre, so it has to be something like heroic fantasy or thereabouts. But you want to use a book that's, like, not too old, right? Like, if the book is from more than, like, 6 or 7 years ago, it's kind of not representative of the current market. So it's not useful to somebody who's trying to sell books right now. When did you get Reflect? You didn't have Reflect a minute ago, Johnny. My goodness, I'm bad at Katana Soul. Am I going to die here? To this guy? Because I don't have a way to confuse him? If we can get better hits than that on the fixed dice. Nice block. I don't need these characters alive, but I need targets to hit those characters. The problem is he's got a lot of AoE attacks. And AoE attacks, I should have really healed Setzer there instead of... Like, yeah, that's what I wanted you to do to your own face while you were confused. Let's do this. Mog and Setzer are going to take this guy down. Word. Oh, dead. Get him back up. Setzer, you're my only hope. Yeah, there's other rules too. Like, you don't want to use a book that's, like, too popular. You don't want to use, like, the rule of thumb I saw was, like, don't use anything that's got a movie or a Netflix deal, right? Too popular, too saturated. Like, everybody wants to write The Hunger Games after The Hunger Games comes out. In fact, Hunger Games was specifically the book that they said don't use. Like, you can never use this. Like, after The Hunger Games got published, everybody tried to write The Hunger Games, and Yeah, I don't know about this Katana Soul fight if you can't confuse him. Do I try to get Setzer back up? Do I try to heal? I've got Protect, Shell, Haste, and Regen. So maybe Mog can just solo it. What are you rocking in the pocket, Mog? You got Ultima in the pocket. That's right. That's what you got in the pocket. Let's do it. Wonder if I should switch the gem box. Not the gem box. Oh, I don't have a gem box. Sabin's just got X magic. That's right. I should have used that 16 rounds ago. Y'all have been screaming at me. So here's my problem: is I don't read a lot of books. First of all, I know that Stephen King, one of his pieces of advice to authors is like spend 8 hours a day reading and spend 8 hours a day writing. Like be a voracious reader. I'm not a voracious reader. I don't read that many books. I read fewer than one book a month, and I know that statistic because almost everything I read is done through Audible. So I get 1 Audible credit each month that I spend on a book that I read, and I almost always build up credits over time. Like, it takes me a little more than a month to finish reading a book, so eventually I've got 2 credits and then 3 credits. And then when I do read, I'm always reading at least 2 books because I've got Audible installed on my phone and I've got it installed on my computer. So sometimes I'll sit down and play a game like Worlds Collide, which is a game that doesn't really require a lot of mental fortitude. There's a second snow muffler. Good to know. Or Risk of Rain Returns just came out. That's a great game to just veg out with. Or something like Shapes or Factorio. Even Minecraft is really good. But turn the game audio down, cue up an audiobook, right? I do a lot of that. So I always have 1 book queued up on the PC, and then I have a book queued up on my phone. So I always got 2 different books going depending on what I'm doing, whether I'm at the computer playing games that don't really require my full attention, or whether I'm like when I exercise and I'm out on my bike, or I'm doing chores around the house or whatever. I've got my phone, put in my earbuds, do it that way. I think I leave. How much does Ultima cost? 80. So you can cast it twice. I'm not going to find anything that needs more than 2 Ultimas when I'm also double casting Pearl and I've got everything else going on. I've got Fixed Dice coming out. Would love to see an offering, I think. Where's my next check? Let's do that. I do the Opera House Dragon next. That's pretty good. And then maybe we go to Narshe and do a whole bunch of Narshe stuff. Like Umaro's Cave is there. There's a monster in a box in that. Does the Opera House? No. Opera House is over here on the arm of the continent. The continental arm. Like, who's coming to this Opera House? Out here in this, like, tiny little isthmus wasteland in the middle of sludge ocean. Like, but it's always packed. It's always jam-packed. You can't say it ain't. I could also go and check, now that we have a nice inventory built up and some money and a couple of decent characters. Which one do I want? This one. No. One of these. There it is. Yeah, we can also go check the Coliseum and see what we can bet. For what? See if we can get anything like really good. Well, you don't really want to see this, I don't think. He's not going to be weak to Holy. I'm not going to be able to tell what he's weak to. Ultima should always hit him, though. Probably. You want to fight. Mog's got the Ultimos. In vanilla, this creature uses Ultima on you when you kill it, but there's a flag to turn that off, thankfully. Where are my potions at? There we go. we are going to have to throw potions out. Let's keep Setzer alive. Let's prioritize Setzer over Realm, because Setzer can theoretically do damage. Do I want this? Only if I could Berserk him and put on Phantom, that would be helpful, but... The problem is, like, I wish I could scan him, see what he's used to, and then use Sabin's other spell to hit him with. He's got 3 different spells you could hit him with, but, yep, just not going to happen. So, I was talking about comp titles, comparison titles. And the issue is I just don't read enough books. So, like, I'm thinking in terms of, like, okay, what is my book like and what other books are out there that are like it? And none came to mind. Which makes sense if you think about it, because why would I want to write a book that's already been written? Like, if I'm going to, like, read, I read the Dragonlance Chronicles and I really, really liked them. So I'm just going to write books that are exactly like the Dragonlance Chronicles. No. And same thing with any fantasy series. Like, there have been many fantasy series that I've loved. In fact, there have been many that I've read just in the past year or so that I have grown to love. But, yeah, I didn't have any good comparisons. More Genji armor. Great. Great and good. Where did I say I was going to go next? I don't think I did say where I was going to go next. I think we're going to go heal up. We heal up by going to the World of Balance, Brick Road. So I looked at my Audible credits, and after, like, probably 2 years of not being a voracious reader, I had 9 credits stored up. And I got some recommendations from people. Of course, when I asked, like, hey, what, like, I told this story about how I need comparison titles for my book. First thing everybody says is read Bryan Sanderson. Well, like, you can't... Bryan Sanderson's not a good comparison title. His stuff's too popular. His stuff's too everywhere. Everybody wants to be like Bryan Sanderson. I will read his stuff eventually. It's just, it's not going to happen anytime soon. We're going to go to Narshe. Because we can do all kinds of stuff in Narshe. Yeah, we'll go there next. But yeah, I did get a couple of comparisons. I did get a couple of suggestions. And then I did some research on my own, just scouring through Audible, looking through all their fantasy literature. Specifically, like, I was looking for fantasy, like, with a romantic bent, because the first book in my series is predominantly a romance story. Curveball, right? You guys didn't see that coming. Brickard with a romance story. What? But I did. And... yeah, we should get like 3 checks if we go up here. There's a dragon. We should be able to do the fight now. And then we go to Umaro's cave. So we popping off if we go up here. Yeah, I think we can do all those things. Cool. So the last few months, I've just been burning up as many fantasy novels as I can read. Like, reading books that are way out of my wheelhouse, like books I would never pick up in a million years otherwise, but like I need to do the market research. The first market research I did, hand to God this is true, because I know people won't believe me when I say this, but I was worried that my first novel would fall under the purview of like erotica. So I wasn't sure. So what I did was, we don't need to make 2 parties? I need 3 parties here. Which one's gonna need the help? Probably this party, because I can't use Ultima in all of these fights, right? Yeah, we'll put Umaro's equipment back on. Give him a gauntlet. See if we can get some work done. Because we really just need to go through here and do the fights. We don't actually have to clear all of these encounters. We just need to get to the boss. The problem is I've never actually read an erotica novel before, okay? Like, I just haven't. I don't care if you believe me or not. This is not a good party. I should really be doing this with the other party exclusively. Umaro, my brother from another mother. Bone Club, let's give you a Gauntlet. Let's give you... I'm thinking A snapper sight or a muscle belt? Muscle belt. Let's do that. And then let's potion you. And let's just roll, soul. Let's just... I should have put 4 characters in this one. Is what I should have done. I didn't do that already. I'm sorry. So, some of the first market research I did is like, okay, I need to figure out like where the line is. Like, if I have to pitch this book as erotica, I will. Like, I'm not above that, like, at all. Absolutely. If that's what I've written, it's what I want to put in the market, then that's the people I need to be talking to, right? Oh, you just rouletted your own self, didn't you? But it didn't work. Gross. Alright, well, these encounters aren't terrible. We should be alright. It looks... The messages made it look like Umaro just learned roulette. That's not what happened. We learned the blue magic spell roulette, but it wasn't necessarily Umaro that uses it. So, I went on Audible. I found some erotica fantasy novels. Never read them before. They were fun. Don't think they're my thing. It's hard to take them seriously. It's hard to take erotica fiction seriously. And I think the argument could be made that you're like not meant to, right? Like I think that's clear to say. Like you're not really meant to take erotica fiction. That's not the purpose of erotica, right? The purpose of erotica is to do something that if I, like help you to do something that if I were to describe the action to you here in my YouTube channel, I would risk demonetization. So not even going to go there. This might be scary. These guys are kind of scary, right? Hopefully we've leveled them down enough. Oh, more roulette. Okay, well let's just sit on Setzer's turn and hope he's not the one who's getting rouletted. He is the one getting rouletted. Let's go to Mog's turn and pop a Phoenix down. We do have a relic ring, which I think can block that, but I didn't know I was fighting these guys until like 10 seconds ago. So okay. Good news is I haven't written erotica. Like that's I'm fairly confident that that's not the market that I'm in. But then the other market research, I had to read a bunch of fantasy books. I'd be like, what can I tell people that my book is like? So I've found some good books, and I found some really lousy ones, and I found some that I think I can point to and be like, hey, I'm kind of like this book here for this reason. So people who liked that book might like mine too. And then I've read other ones that are just not that are just, nope, not even a little bit. Why am I still in a fight? I don't want to be in a fight. Why am I in a fight? I'm very confused right now. There we go. Okay. Yeah, for some reason that soldier didn't die, and then I got locked in that fight again. So there's like one book I am just dying to talk about. I'm just going to give you guys kind of the synopsis of this book. I read this book, and I'm going to cast Ultima on your boy here. And I got this book. It was not one that I would have picked up legitimately. I'm going to say that right off. The reason I selected this particular book was because in October, Audible had their Halloween sale. So you get 2 books for 1 credit on Audible, right? Provided it's a book that's part of the sale. So you don't have access to every book on the site. You have access to like this list of however many books that they had up there. So I'm like, all right, I have just read like 5 or 6 fantasy novels in a row. And I need to keep it up. I need to keep doing the research. But I want to treat myself. Like, I want to read something that's not knockoff Game of Thrones for once in my life this year. So I bought an audiobook of Bram Stoker's Dracula. I read it in middle school. I didn't remember a lot about it. Went through the audiobook this year. Absolutely loved it, by the way. Excellent book. Definitely get the audiobook. The version of the audiobook I had, the guy had the perfect Dracula voice. It was awesome. We got Go-Go happening. I don't like Go-Go, though, so we're going to put my party back together that I already had. And Go-Go and Umaro, who are the worst characters ever. Why am I here? I don't want to be here. Oh, I gotta go to the World of Ruin, Narshe, is what I have to do. To do the rest of the stuff up there. So that is fine. Okay, so we'll get the refreshment out here. We'll fly to the World of Ruin. And then we'll get it done. Alright, so. Part of the Halloween sale about Bram Stoker's Dracula. And then I have to pick, I'm like, from the list of books that they're showing me now that are part of the Halloween sale. On this 2-for-1 BOGO with your Audible credits deal. What looks like it might be in the zip code of being a comparison title for the book I've written, which does not have the word mural in the title. And I found a book called, and you know what? I know it's a little mean to be calling out another. I don't know the author. I don't know her situation. I don't know. Like, I'm definitely not in the target market for this book. I'll say that. If this had not been like, hey, pick a book that you have to read and you have to pick from this list of like 30 or 40 titles or whatever it was, would never have read this book in a million years. So understanding that, all of the criticism when I walk you through this book and talk about how lousy I found it, like, just keep that in mind. Like, I'm not the person she wrote this book for, but in the realm of like romantic fantasy, which I do need to read because I need to do the market research. Like, I need to understand it better. The book came up, so I'm going to tear this book to shreds here in my video. But I wanted to put that up front, like, as I'm like reviewing this book and talking about it, because I have to talk about it. I have to. It's in my head. It's going to be in my head forever. There should be a dragon out here. There is. I'm going to use a save point before I talk to this dragon and get my butt pushed in by whatever actual monster it is. Alright, and I don't even know the author. I don't have the author's name on screen right now, unfortunately. So I'm not. It's not a call out. This is not like, if you liked this book and you've heard of it, and you've read it, and you enjoyed it, I'm not like calling you out. Just for me, this book was absolute nonsense. So the book is called The Queen with No Name. And it's part of a fantasy series called, I think, Return of the Ancestors. And it has the worst plots of a fantasy novel I've ever read in my life. Did I just get an Illumina and an Atma weapon from the same fight, and nobody can use it? Yo, Brick Road, get absolutely pooped on. Maybe we'll go down to the Umaro's cave here. We'll find Terra. We're going to go down there. We're going to find Terra. I got a Genji glove. I'm going to give her Illumina and an Atma weapon, and she's going to be awesome. That's the plan. All right, so the Queen with No Name. So this is... I was looking for fantasy novels that have, like, a strong romance subplot. That's what I wanted. That's kind of what I feel I've written, so I'm going to tell other people... Comparing it to other books, that's what I feel I should do. I don't know that I like this fight at all either, but we're here now, and we can't not be here. And we're going to throw Ultima out like it's a party. That's the plan. I think you're weak to Pearl, actually, I want to say. So, The Queen with No Name. So, this book commits so many sins. So many sins. Like, I don't know if there's a YouTube channel that does, like, book sins. Like, that channel Cinema Sins that everybody hates for the dumbest reasons. It's just putting negativity in the world. Yeah, so's your video about how much Cinema Sins sucks. That's just putting negativity in the world, but nobody's going to make a video like about your video about how much I don't watch Cinema Sins. I shouldn't be going to the mat for Cinema Sins anyway. Like, I'm not a cinema stan over here. But, yeah... I don't know if that channel exists, like book sins, but this book commits so many. And I'm going to walk through them, and some of them are going to get me canceled. Because some of them, I know for a fact, like, these are going to get me labeled as like, oh, Bricker's been red-pilled, and he just doesn't like... like, he doesn't like girl bosses or something. So, okay. World building 101. Internal consistency. There's no law that says that your fiction that you've written has to be internally consistent. Like the canon police aren't going to come to your house and take you off to book jail if you write a book where the world building doesn't make sense. That said, for me personally, the world building has to make sense. If I'm reading a work of fiction, like the rules of the setting have to be consistent, not only with themselves, but also with what I know in the real world. Because any world building you don't do, anything you don't establish in your fictional world, my baseline assumption is, oh, so it works like it does on Earth. I live on Earth. I've been here my whole life. It's possible that you have too. I don't know that for a fact. Maybe not. I got a crystal mail. That was kind of neat. This is an item. I'm sorry that I made those noises. Oh, I gotta leave. Okay, but here's what we're gonna do. We're going to take this Genji glove off of you and give you an I don't even care. Here, a back guard. With a flail. Why do you have a hero ring? That doesn't even work on fixed dice. Oh, that looks nice. You'll love to see it. I do need to leave here, though, before we go to the cave. I can't warp. Oh, I can warp from the screen. Great. Internal consistency. So let's talk about that just a little tiny bit so you guys can kind of hear where I'm coming from. If you don't establish, for example, like all dogs in my world that I've written, like part of the world, all dogs are black. Only black furred dogs. Every dog in existence has black fur, black nose, black tongue, black, like foot beans, right? If you don't establish that, I'm going to assume that all the dogs in your world are just the dogs on our world. I've lived on Earth. I've been here my whole life. I've seen a bunch of dogs. Dogs come in all kinds of shapes and sizes and colors. So what you can't do as an example in your book is just say that there's a dog in the scene and not describe the dog. Like I need to kind of know like what the dog looks like or is. Like put me in the ballpark, right? You can say that you have a tiger. As far as I'm concerned, all tigers are exactly the same, right? But there's 17,000 breeds of dogs. I have a Chihuahua. My dude down the road, one of my neighbors, has a pit bull, and everything in between. So, if part of your world building is all of the dogs in this world look the same, they all have black fur, they're all this big, they all have sharp teeth, like you have to establish that early on, or I'm going to assume it works the way it does on Earth. Like there's a bunch of different dogs, there's a bunch of different breeds. That is also true for things like historical context when it comes to things like gender politics and like warfare technology, right? If you're in a somewhat medieval-ish setting, I'm going to assume there are no firearms. And if you don't establish like how and why your medieval setting has firearms pretty early on, it's going to be really jarring when I get halfway into book 2 and suddenly somebody whips out a flintlock pistol. Doesn't compute, doesn't work right, will take me out of the story. So your story has to both be internally consistent with itself, but also internally consistent with my understanding of reality. It doesn't have to be consistent with my understanding of reality. Just you have to put in the work to explain why it's not. Okay, so now let's talk about gender politics. That's a super fun topic for a Christmas video. My first video that I'm putting up in 6 months. Yeah, let's get canceled today. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb. And I'm going to suggest that you probably agree with me and every other right-thinking person, as far as I'm concerned, that throughout history on Earth, women weren't always treated very nice. That's fair to say, right? Like, that's not a crazy statement. Just if you're a student of history or even historical fiction, that's not crazy. That's not a crazy thing to say. Okay. So, the corollary to that is, I want Sabin alive, I think. Let's get him back up. The corollary to that is, if you write a book and you're like doing a fantasy setting, but the fantasy setting maps to world history. For example, most heroic fantasy that we're used to is kind of beholden to Lord of the Rings, which has a similar vibe to just like medieval time, like medieval Europe, basically. You can move out from there. You can go in a lot of directions from that. You don't have to be married to that setting forever. But if you're establishing that as your baseline, when it comes to like gender politics, I fell in a hole. There's lots of holes on this map, but I don't remember where they all are all the time. I'm going to make some assumptions about this world, about like the role of women and the role of men and what they do or don't do. And I'm going to expect that your characters in the story also conform to that in some way. So the first sin, this one's a forgivable sin. This one, like, I would actually make the argument that in some aspects of fantasy fiction, you probably should adhere to this on some level. And I do as well, especially when I run D&D. And it's this. So you can have a medieval setting and just not explain at all. I want to click this first, don't I? And have like men and women in different gender roles. You can do that because in medieval times, like in history on Earth, that was the case. Like we have an intuitive understanding of what that means. Let's heal up because I know there's a boss here. We're already in good shape. We're in good shape to fight whatever boss this is. It's an item though. Behemoth suit. Okay, I think that's for Realm. Realm's not good in this seed though. Just her sprite's cool looking. So here's what you can't do then. Or I mean you can, because the author of this book did, but if you're gonna write women into this world and you're going to conform to like these medieval gender politics where women have particular roles in society that they're expected to perform, you cannot then, or I guess you can, because again, this author did, but to write the main character of the book, in this book it's the queen with no name. She's a no-named queen. And she has literally 21st century like progressive outlook on gender politics. Even though she was raised in a society where functionally women are property. But for some reason she has it in her head that like she shouldn't be property. And she shouldn't, in an objective sense. If we're writing a history book, absolutely not. Like, nobody's going to make the case that this book is... like, it's not aspirational. You don't want to read this book and be like, that's how I want to treat women. That sounds great. Somebody out there probably did, I'm sure. But, yeah, it's just it's so jarring. Because in the story... the way the world building works is there's 4 kingdoms, and all 4 kingdoms suck. So you got Kingdom A, B, C, and D. And, I don't know, 20 years ago or 30 years ago or whatever, there was this big, big war, and 1 million people died. And the kingdoms are like, if we keep fighting, we're all going to die, and we don't all want to die. So what are we going to do? So here's the solution they came up with, right? Kingdom A says, we're going to marry our princess off to Kingdom B. So she goes over to Kingdom B. So she marries King B, and then they have a daughter, and they marry their daughter off to King C. Okay? So then King C, and they're like, they have a daughter, and they get sent off to King D. And then the King D daughter is the protagonist of our book. So she's the last one in this cycle. Her job is to go back to Kingdom A and fulfill this marriage contract. And that will kind of seal this treaty, and then all the kingdoms will be safe. We can go to Zone Eater. I want to do the Moogle Defense while I'm here. I think I got to be in World of Balance for that, though. So, okay. All she has to do is go marry King A, and then produce an heir for him. Like, that's like her job. That's her only job. It's the only thing she's been raised to do. It's the only expectation she has in this world. She's been raised her whole life to be told, like, this is exactly what you need to do to seal this treaty, to prevent war, to save all these people's lives. So even though to you and me here in the 21st century, it sounds barbaric, to force a woman into a marriage she doesn't want for the explicit purpose of having children she doesn't want to have. In this setting and in this society, that's her job. And the author, first of all, gives this woman, like, modern progressive politics. Actually, first of all, Kingdom D, where this woman grows up, is the worst. It's the worst of the four kingdoms by far. Super misogynistic. Oh, I gotta pay attention here. Or I'm gonna get this wrong. Oh, I'm gonna get this wrong anyway. Oh, I'm not. I'm gonna ruin Christmas right here. It's through here, right? And then down around here. And then... Christmas is saved! Krampus exists. Okay, so yeah, Kingdom D. The reason that she's the queen with no name is, like, in this culture... I need to go in here. In this culture, women aren't given names until they're married, and then their husband names them. They're property. They're not allowed to show their face in public. They're not allowed to learn to read. It just really, really sucks to be a woman in this kingdom. Even though she's the princess, like, her dad, King D, is super awful, super misogynistic. I gotta go to... I don't trigger this event from here, do I? I probably trigger it from Arvis's house. Let's go there. So, like, yeah, she's raised. She doesn't have a name. She's never seen her face. She was forbidden from talking to her mother. Her mother, like, met her in secret, so she, like, really likes her mom. But somehow she has... first of all, she has 21st century progressive politics, which doesn't make sense for the setting that this author has written. It's fine if you want to have modern politics in a fantasy setting. I think that's absolutely okay. Dungeons & Dragons does that as a baseline in all of their stuff. I'm actually on my phone right now. My exercise novel right now is the prequel novel to the Dungeons & Dragons movie they put out. And yeah, and it's like, that story, it's just men and women are equal in all ways, and we don't think about it that much. We don't have to. It's not part of the story. Great. I'm on board. When I run my D&D games, that's almost always how I'm going to run it, right? Unless I have a specific reason not to, which in my current campaign, I don't. So I don't. But this author wanted this setting. Like, she wrote the setting this way. She made it so the character is in, like, super misogyny land, right? So it doesn't make sense that she has these values. But on top of that, even though by punishment of death in this kingdom, women are not allowed to read, they're not allowed to fight, they're not allowed to do anything. Even though those laws are in place, somehow this princess is a super secret badass fighter. Oh, the double fixed dice. You love it. Yeah, she's a super, like, sword fighter. She has all this secret, like, ninja skills. Or, like, secret sword fighting skills. She does have secret ninja skills because she can sneak. She can't, like... She has all these, like, stealth abilities. And she's also done... She's, like, she can read. She learned how to read, even though it's illegal. And she's read everything. She's read thousands of books in her life. Thousands and thousands of books. So all through the book, like, she has a working, like, modern kind of understanding of, like, topics like astronomy and human biology and medicine and just all kinds of things that a standard person in a medieval world would not have. But she has, I would say, like, a Renaissance era level of education. So she's super smart, she's super tough, she's super sneaky, and she's, like, super feminist. So the book opens, she's being married off to King D, and she doesn't want to be married off to King D. She absolutely hates it. Even though she knows that's the only way to prevent this war, it's literally her only job, it's all she has to do. So immediately I don't like this character, because immediately I realize I'm supposed to like her. I just saw an Aegis shield drop. I just did see that. We might get another one from another one of these guys. That'd be great. I realize I'm supposed to like her because I'm supposed to look at this character and be like, yeah, girl boss, great. Feminism's awesome. But because as a reader, I need that consistency, I didn't. I was like, okay, I'm on board with you hating this idea if it turns out that, like, the king you're about to marry sucks. Like, if the guy is terrible, like, if he's abusive, if he's killing people, but he's not. The guy she's marrying is Ned Stark. So Kingdom D, or Kingdom A, she's going back to Kingdom A, where she got sold off to, is just the North from Game of Thrones. It's just this rugged, like, Viking land, right? And the guy she's marrying is just this very, like, honor-bound, like, he's Ned Stark. I don't know how else to put it. The author read Game of Thrones, liked Ned Stark, or hated Ned Stark. I don't know. So he's really big on, like, look, we're not going to love each other, but we have to do our duty. Which, by the way, that's exactly Ned Stark's backstory in Game of Thrones. That's how he and Catelyn Stark, like Catelyn Tully, got married, didn't love each other, had to do the duty for their family. I'm getting way into the weeds here. Point is, he wants to do his duty. He wants to see this this treaty fulfilled, and now I got a new Magicite. That's cool. Take a look at it. Even though I've already got Ultima, I could really use some healing at some point. Maybe Shoat will have some. Oh, you can't even use it. You're stacked. You can use it. Bolt 3, okay. Strength 2, sure. Just because you need something. But, okay, she absolutely refuses to consummate this marriage. She absolutely won't do it. She won't sleep with the guy and produce an heir for him. And there's a scene in the book, and I read a bunch of reviews for this book after I finished reading. I was like, I have to see what the feedback was on this book. Like the social justice police have to have come out against this book because it gets really gross in places. But there's a scene, and all these people are reviewing the book, and they're like, this guy is awful. Like, he's just, all he cares about is her producing a kid. Like, yeah, he's the king, and if she doesn't, like, thousands of people are going to die in a war. Like, it's her job, man. But okay, there's a scene where the guy is like, I could force myself on you and be inside of my rights to do so because I'm the king and you're my wife and you can't gainsay me, and there's this treat. Like, I could do that, but I'm not going to. Like, I can't bring myself to do it. Like, it's against my personal code of ethics. So right there at this point in the book, like the spot where the target audience for the book hated the man and loved the woman, I was exactly the opposite. I was like, yeah, he is in the right here. He's doing what he should do. And then he does the stupidest thing in the world. Let's go back to Owzer's house and finish up Owzer's house. Why didn't we finish that? Oh, it was because the encounters in the dungeon were bad. So he's like, all right, you hate me. You won't have a child by me, but eventually we're going to have to break you in. We have to break your spirit, basically, is what he says. And so here's how he does this. Because you're thinking there's a million ways he could put her in a torture chamber. He could, like, make her live in the woods with wolves or something. No, what he says was, we're going to teach you, this is not where I want to be. We're going to teach you how tough life is here in the North. When you see how hard we have it, like the hardworking people we are, like once you see our value set, you're going to want to be part of our society. That's kind of his argument, right? Like once you kind of fall in love with our people the way I know you will, you'll see our society is worthwhile. You'll see that we're not going to hurt you. You'll want to participate. You'll want to do right by us. That's kind of his argument. And I thought it was a persuasive argument, personally. I'm like, all right, she has all these hang-ups about sex and like intimacy, and she doesn't want to be here, and she's been sold, and she has this weird value set that she definitely shouldn't have, but she does somehow. But okay, this is a compromise. He wants her to do the thing. He needs her to do the thing, or he can't fulfill his part of the treaty, and his kingdom's going to be eradicated. But he's not going to force her into it. He's going to try to change her mind. And the way he does this is he puts her to work. He's like, these are chores. These are tasks that people in the North have to complete. And I'm thinking at first, like, oh, okay, these are going to be like impossible chores. These are going to be like going out and hunting down dire wolves, or like chopping down trees for lumber, or like learning how to survive in cold conditions. Like nope. All he asks her to do is stack firewood. That's it. That's the task. She's got to stack firewood and she's got to bring in buckets of water. That's it. That's her big conflict. And what happens is, and I'm thinking this is going to be no problem, right? Because she's secret badass. She's got all this sword training. She's a ninja. She's read all these books. Like, she can handle this. And the book is written from first person. So there's just a lot of her being, like, her in the book being like, and I knew I had to endure the torturous of all these chores and lift these heavy logs and carry the... I swear there's 3 chapters of this where she's just doing the work and complaining about it. Not to other characters. She's complaining about it in her own head. Like, I will endure any level of torment if it means I get to keep my own soul. And I'm like, bitch, you're stacking firewood. You're not even chopping the fire. You're not felling the trees. You're not splitting the logs. You're not stoking the fires. All you're doing is carrying the firewood that's already been split for you inside and put it. That's all you're doing. What are we complaining about? So what happens is, remember, this is secret badass ninja girl, okay? Who's super smart, super talented, super sexy too, by the way. She's never seen her face before. But once, like, one of the things he gives her is a mirror so she can see how beautiful she is. And of course, she's the most beautiful woman that ever beautiful. Like, I don't remember the physical description of the character, but like super, super hot. So super hot, super smart, super strong, super ninja. She gets hurt really badly. Severe injuries sustained from stacking this firewood. And she doesn't tell anyone. I'm not super clear on the nature of these injuries, by the way, because they don't make a lot of sense to me. Like, I can see, like, if you're stacking firewood, how you might, like, injure yourself, right? You might, like, scratch your arms up, which I think that she does get described, like, she scratches her arms up. But the degree to which she gets injured, to where she's talking about how her arms, like, barely move anymore. And then the wounds she sustains are so deep and so visceral. And she doesn't tell anybody because she's trying to, like, be... she's trying to be Superwoman, right? Like, she's trying to be, like, endure any torments and prove to myself that I'm stronger than all of these Northmen. So she doesn't tell anybody that she's injured. She doesn't show anybody the injuries. And they get badly affected. Like, really badly infected. So she's dying now. She's, like, hardcore dying. There's my Thunder Shield that I needed earlier. Gosh. Golly gee willikers, Batman. I'm almost out of potions. I really could use some healing magic at some point. Would be nice. Maybe I skip the rest of these chests and just go do the check here. So, okay, she's dying of this illness now. One day, she can't wake up. The king is like, oh, she's sick, call the doctor. And the doctor's like, yeah, she's sick because she's got this, like, super infection. She's got, like, the COVID AIDS in her arm because she stacked too much firewood. And then he's like, how could I have ever made her stack firewood? She's a beautiful porcelain doll. And so, okay. He, like, they have this one harrowing night where the doctor's like, she's definitely going to die for sure tonight, for sure. And he's like, if she doesn't die... Like, he prays to, like, the gods of the North and men, I don't know. But he, like, if you save her life, I'm going to change my whole outlook, and I'm going to be the best husband ever, ever, ever. Here's Locke. Locke is a bunch of good checks. And then, of course, she doesn't die, because that would be stupid, right? Actually, that would have been a much better ending to this book. I'm gonna be honest. Like, if she did die of the infections and then that was just it, and then war just took all these kingdoms because they couldn't fulfill this marriage pact, that would have been a badass way to end this book, and I would be recommending it to everybody I ever meet for the rest of my life. That's not what they do. So, she doesn't die, and then they have like this scene where they talk it out, and he's like, I only pushed you really, really hard because I really love you, and she's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I really love you too now. So then they have a whole section of the book where they're like, dating? Like, they're already married, and like she should be pregnant by now, but she's not. And so they go on these like dates to these like beautiful gardens. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought we established that we're in like Rugged Viking North. What is it with, like, you're going to, like, the apple gardens? What's going on here? No idea. But they go on the date, and they have the, like, she finally decides to sleep with him. And at the end of the book, I got Locke in the party now. I'm just going to take a look at what he's... Actually, no, I do want Locke in the party. For sure, because I've got Illumina, I've got Valiant Knife. He's got Runic, which is butts. But I think what I do is I just do this. Like, he doesn't even need... Keep the Genji gloves on Setzer with the fixed dice, right? Give you a hero ring. I have a second Genji glove. Where do they get a second Genji glove? Oh, well, something obvious thing. Yeah, let's set it up. Boom. Wow, we're in good shape now. We're in good shape. I don't even think Realm had anything worth using. We can learn Ultima, so yeah, I'll do that. Great. And that's more checks. What do we got now? What are we doing? We are doing... I got Zone Eater I can check. Go back to Narshe. I don't know what Narshe Weapon Shop Mines means. I know what the Weapon Shop is. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what Weapon Shop Mines means. But we do need to go back to Narshe. Cool. Cool beans. And I think there's 2 checks we can do in Narshe. Great. So, okay, at the end of the book, there's like, finally the plot starts moving. And it turns out there's a bunch of plot twists. Like, there's like the king's brother was the villain all along, even though he's only been in like 2 scenes and nobody cares. Like, nobody's seen this guy. But he turns out he's a villain and he was like trying to sell it out and they're trying to prevent a bunch of stupid stuff happens. Like, all in one chapter, like in the span of 20 pages, like everything possible happens all of a sudden. And she gets kidnapped by like this resistance movement who are like, we don't want to fulfill this treaty, which you would fulfill if you gave the king a son. What's the deal here? Oh, yeah, we want to do this. Okay, there's 2 checks here because there's 2 possible items here. Right, and then there needs to be a way for me to also get Shiva. So the Minerva Bustier is good. What does this mean? Though, I'm not super clear on what this means. Do we just go into the mines and take a look? Yeah, hard to know. There should be one more item check, though. The Paladin Shield spot. It's in this, like, one of these houses up on the cliff. But yeah, so this, like, resistance movement, they're like, we don't want to fulfill the treaty, we want to find some other way. So they, like, kidnap her. And that's where the book ends. Oh, it's a cursed shield with 5 battles on it. So I gotta do 5 battles with the cursed shield. You can do it. Let's do this. Let's give you a ribbon to counteract the cursed shield. Let's give you the cursed shield. Which means we need to give the Moogle Charm. Actually, we don't want a Moogle Charm. So we need to do 5 fights. So we should just be able to do 5 fights just out here, right? Probably don't need to be dual casting Pearl here, but that's what we're doing. And then at the very end of the book, they're like, oh, here's a preview chapter for book 2. And it's the first chapter from the king's perspective. And like, he hates her now because he thinks that she betrayed him and she thinks that she betrayed, like, ugh. I'm like, I don't care about any of this. And I got to the end of the book and I was blown away because I couldn't believe that the main conflict of the book was she moved firewood, got an injury, and almost died. Like, wow. Wow beans, right? I'm going to do 4 more battles here. I will for a Paladin Shield. Why not? Oh, is it the actual... Is it a paladin shield, though? It might turn into another item. Oh, is this the... Mine? No, this can't be the mines. That doesn't make sense. I guess we'll see. I'll tell you what I'd like to get is a Master Scroll. That'd be pretty good. Get X-Fight up in here. So yeah, I couldn't believe... And it's a long book, too. Like, it was a long listen. And so much of it is just this woman agonizing. I am my soul is tormented. Like, listen, lady, you gots to get over yourself. And it's all predicated on this idea that the world building sucks. Like, oh, we want to have this medieval setting. We have something to say about, I don't know, the topics of feminism or whatever in medieval settings and like feudalistic. It's like you didn't have to write the book that way, but you did. And then you have a character. Totally turned me off of the whole book. I thought the romance sucked too, by the way. Like, even as just, I have to assume that, like, you wouldn't call it like a bodice ripper, right? Like, because there's not, like, the romance is just really aggressively toxic for most of it. So I can't imagine anybody, like, maybe the 50 Shades crowd is into it? I don't know. I wasn't into it. Just as a fantasy book, I thought it sucked. And as a romance, I thought it sucked. Definitely the worst book I've read all year. I will not be reading more books in the Ancients Come Alive series or whatever it's called. So yeah. So okay, the other thing that happens in this book that really bugs me is she's agonizing, right? Oh, I'm so tormented, my soul, blah, blah, blah. This king is mistreating me. And he keeps telling her, like, all she wants in life is a name. She finally has a husband. He's supposed to give her a name. And he keeps telling her, like, I'm not going to give you anything except, like, food and a place to live until you start doing your duty by me. Like, when you decide you want to start being my wife and being queen to these people and producing an heir, then we can talk about what you're getting in return. Which, again, sounds barbaric to our ears because we live in 21st century, you know, like Western liberal democracies. But in a feudalistic system, that's totally reasonable for a man to say to his wife after they've been joined in this political marriage. But he said the compromise is like, look, once you do that, that's when I'll give you a name. Like, it's the only thing you want in the world, I guess. That's when it's going to happen. But then she gets her injury, and like he feels bad about it. And did we do 5 fights yet? I think I've run from some fights. So after he feels bad, and they're on their like they're in their like dating scene, and he's like, "I'm gonna give you the greatest gifts in the world, and I'm gonna let you pick your own name." Right? Like, that's the gift I'm giving you. Like, whatever name you want to have for yourself, you'll be the first woman from Kingdom D who has ever had this privilege. And then she doesn't for the whole rest of the book. Like, she just doesn't. There's a couple scenes where she, like, thinks about it, but, like, she just never, ever does. Dispelled Curse on the shield. Great. So now I've got a Plateau shield. Yeah, it's a Plateau shield. Perfect. So now we give that to Sabin, so he can learn Ultima. We can take this ribbon off of Magort, put the Muggle charm back on. Man, we got the Valiant knife too. It's so good. It might even be better than the Atma weapon, actually. I want to do that for the evade, I think. I think it's better. Maybe it's not. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Alright, I think we need to go into the mines. And there's going to be a check in there, but I don't know where it's going to be. So we'll just take a look for it, I guess. Like, it didn't credit me the check, right? Yeah, weapon shop mines. So let's go take a look. Already this seed is taking me a lot longer than I thought it was. But it's okay. It's Christmas. Why not? Yeah, like, Narshe Weapon Shop Mines. So is there going to be a check in here worth looking for? Hold on. I think I know where to go. I think I know what to look for. Because if you have Terra, a check opens up in the North Mines, where you would fight Welk in the vanilla game, in like the introduction of the game. But I think maybe there'll... I have memories of getting 2 checks there, and this might be why I got 2 checks there when I played this in the past. Or not. Or I just don't know. I guess I could Google it. I guess I could look it up. What other checks do I have open? Let's start there. What else do we got? I'm gonna go to Zone Eater, Esper Mountain. Oh, I can check the auction house. Probably got pretty good. Yeah, we got pretty good money. So auction house is probably a good bet. I think they remove all the dumb stuff out of the auction house, so it shouldn't take forever. Phoenix Cave is probably good. Because we can do the dragon in Phoenix Cave and then complete that check. Why didn't I check the auction house when I was here before? So yeah, suffice it to say I will not be using the Queen with No Names as a comparison title. My goodness. There is some... I think you could make the argument when you read my novel. I think you could make the argument that there are some questionable gender politics stuff in there. And I think there kind of has to be if you want to have believable fantasy fiction. But not to the extent that it is in The Queen with No Names. Like, it takes a lot to ick me out. Like, I read Game of Thrones, no problem, right? I will buy this. But yeah, this book really icked me out in places, and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. Will not be using it as a comparison. So then I read another book. I'm like, okay, I hated The Queen with No Name. And I'm back to, I need to spend Audible credits. Not on sale, so I'm back to just having access to their full backlog. And I found a fantasy book, and one of the reviews said that the romance in it was really good. Like, they did a good job with the lead character and her boyfriend. So I'm like, okay, I want to read that. Book is called Kill the Queen. And I'm like, I would love to kill the queen. I just read a book about a terrible queen. Tirado, Bolt 3, Bolt 2, Merton. Yeah, you can take those. Do it. He'll tell me if there's not anything else to bid, and I can also check the tracker for it. Alright, so Kill the Queen is book 1 in a series called Crown of Shards. What caught my eye for this is because doing the research for it, going to the author's webpage, she's a prolific YA fiction author. And I don't like YA fiction. I really bounce off of most young adult fiction that I've read. But that's predominantly what she's written. But go down on her webpage, she has a warning label for Kill the Queen. And the warning label is like, this is not YA fiction. This is adult fantasy fiction. Like, there are bad words. There is hella violence. People do the mouth kisses on body parts. So I'm thinking, great. Because that's kind of the zip code that I have also tried to land in with my story. So if Kill the Queen turns out to be good, it might be a good comparison title. And I read it. And it's fine. The first book, absolutely fine. My actual review of it is like, it's totally YA. It's totally young adult fiction. Just kind of with sharp edges. Like, she uses the F word. And one of the first scenes in the book is this really violent massacre. And she goes into detail on how some of these people die, which I love. I'm a big fan of gratuitous violence, right? I'm all about violence. I just watched Blue Eye Samurai on Netflix. Super violent. Loved it. So, okay. But it feels like what happened was, like, she wrote a YA book, or she drafted a YA book. At least she outlined one. And then, like, okay, what do I do to level this up? That's really what it feels like. And so the tone of the first book, like I said, the book is fine. I actually really like the main character. I liked her a lot. It has a setting. There's some world building problems with this book too that I thought was funny. But the setting is like everybody in this setting has magic. And there's like 4 different kinds of magic you can have. And the hero of the book, the heroine, has the worst kind. She has a kind of magic. It's not flashy. It's not profitable. Like, she can't really do anything cool with it. Her magic power is she smells good. Not like you smell her and she smells like flower. Like, she has a good nose. Like, she can sniff things. Like, there's this scene in the beginning of the book where like her whole family gets completely assassinated with poison, and she doesn't drink it because it smells sour to her. It smells nasty. And then she finds out that, oh, the reason it smells bad is because it was poison. And now she knows what that poison smells like, and she starts detecting it. So they do some cool things with the magic in it, too. And then she meets this guy, and like there's obviously chemistry there. Like, at first they hate each other, but then they work with each other for a little bit, and like they're kind of into each other. But they get to the end of the book, and he's like, you know what? It's not going to work. We can't do it. We can never be together. I want to learn Life 3. I want to learn Life 3. I want to learn Life 3 on Sabin. And I can. Oh, that's perfect. Love to see that. How you doing on Siren? Poison? Do we care about Poison? We care about Pearl. Let's get Pearl instead. You're rocking Tomato. Cool. All right. We can go... Where next? This is going to bug me if I don't look this up. I'm sorry. I have to go to the laptop here. And type in Worlds Collide. Narshe Weapon Shop Mines. Unlock the website, enter the back room. The ward not chosen will be in the room behind Welk in the World of Ballads. Okay. But it's gated by Terra. It says I can't do that. I wonder if that's like the information here. I'm gonna check. Let's double check it. We'll see. Because yeah, you can't actually fight Welk without Terra. It's a Terra check. We don't have Terra. We've got Lock. This is saying I might be able to do it though. So let's just check. Let's trust the tracker in the game over the tracker, or over on the wiki here, which might be outdated information. Who knows? All right, so this Crown of Shards book. Basically, he's like, we can't be together for political reasons. Turns out she's a queen, and he's like, I can't marry a queen. You get no benefit, like, politically if you do that. We're just not compatible, even though we're totally into each other. Like, they don't even do the mouth touches or anything. They don't even, like, get that far in the book. Which is really... Yeah, so gated by Terra. Cannot get in there yet. Where's Terra? South Figaro Cave should be a quick check. But Phoenix Cave has 2 checks, so I think I want to go there next. Because there's a dragon, and then there's the actual complete the cave itself. And I don't need to... I need to make sure that I get the right party, though, to fight the dragon. I think I could switch. I think at the end you can switch which party's doing what. Let's find out. So this is really adding on to, like, my theory that, like, she wrote or at least outlined this YA novel and then tried to level it up because there's no sex in the book. Like, they just have this chemistry together, and then I feel bad that Realm's not in my party anymore. We'll do this. Because I'm just going to give this party a Moogle Charm anyway. Like, we're going to have a Moogle Charm on both parties. It's not going to matter. Which is very common in young adult fiction, right? You kind of don't want to have sex scenes. It's like you can still have romance. That's perfectly fine. But like when you're dealing with like an age group that typically teenagers, like dystopian fiction was really popular for many, many years. It makes sense. You don't want to have the sexy times. And this book doesn't. They have to, like, some sparks fly, but that's about it. So, okay. I enjoyed the first book. And I'm like, you know what? I'm willing to go into book 2. Book 2 of this series is called Protect the Prince. So now she's got to protect the prince. And the prince is... Actually, I liked what happened in this book because they kind of subvert the love triangle thing. Like, oh, if it was a YA book, what it would have done is just be like... there's a love triangle between the prince and the hero, queen lady, and the prince's brother. But they don't do that. There is some kind of tension there because for political reasons they have to make it look like she's going to marry the prince's brother, but she's not actually into it. So it was kind of cool. I like how the author did kind of subvert some standard YA tropes that I'm usually not like. I don't want to see another love triangle in my life. You know, I'm really tired of like, will they, won't they? Like if the main conflict, like the main romantic conflict of your book is will they, won't they? I'm out. I'm outie. Not interested. I don't care if they will or won't. Like I care what happens after they do or don't. If that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making any kind of sense. So I read book 2. And book 2 is more like political. Like there's more kind of political maneuvering and it's kind of cool. A little overzealous on the but I manipulated you into manipulating me, mwahaha, kind of like a little too thick on that, but overall still pretty enjoyable, still pretty good, pretty much into it. I think I think the other party is going to come up on the dragon, I'm pretty sure, and if not, like I said, I think we can go back. And then like 80% of the... Oh, I gotta pull these spikes down. I gotta get rid of the spikities. 80% of the way through book 2, they finally have a thing where like, okay, all the politics stuff is done. All we have left is like the big fight with the villain at the end of the book. And so now like we're in love now for real. And hardcore sex scene out of nowhere. Didn't like I thought I had a good read on the book's tone, which was like PG-13. Like you knew these characters were going to have sex, but more like it was going to be like a fade to black situation. Like they were going to do like a lot of heavy petting and then just kind of wake up together in the same bed in the next scene. Like a little naughty, right? Nope. Like very graphic, very detailed. Like some of the erotica that I read earlier in the year for market research, he says, like this book would have made some of it blush. And again, I'm down. I'm 100% happy to read, you know, your hardcore sex scene. Fine. Great. Like I said, I read me some Game of Thrones. No problem. Yeah, here's my dragon. Cool. Is it a dragon? Let's find out. But it was so jarring because the tone of this book has been like PG-13, like a light PG-13 for the whole book. And then pretty much out of nowhere, suddenly it's not. It was really funny. And the sex scene was fine. It was fine. It was believable. The characters were enjoying each other. They were having fun. It was very positive. I definitely believed that these two characters would have had intimacy in that way at that time. So, like, no yellow card on that. Just didn't see it coming. I thought I had a good read on the tone of the book, and I absolutely did not. So it was really funny. And then I'm reading book 3 now, and book 3 is straight up clown shoes. Book 3 is called Crush the King. And I feel like the soundtrack to this novel is like yakety sax mashed up with caramel dancing. Like it's nothing believable, like even remotely believable happens in the novel. I no longer buy the romance because like the main character is the queen and then like her boy toy, who was a major character in the first 2 books, like suddenly isn't anymore. Okay? Like, he's barely in the book. He's only there for her to have sex with. It's really funny. I'm almost done with book 3. I've got like an hour left. There's Stray. I think I don't have all the characters I need, do I? Like, I'm not good to go, right? What do I still need? I need to find... Okay, I got the characters that I need. I still need to find Espers and I need to find dragons. So we need to go somewhere... We need to find dragons. We need to go somewhere where there's a boss. There's not a boss in Zone Eater. There is a boss in South Figaro Cave. We'll go there next. So yeah, I'm still wondering... It's giving me pause. Like this is what I've been agonizing about this week. Is I'm in book 3 of this series. I thought book 1 and 2 were pretty good. And... if book 3 had gone to a place where, like, they're going to finish this adventure up together and they're, like, relationships in a good place and they can still be having a lot of sex, I don't mind. That's fine with me. But that's not the case. Like, he's barely a character. He's only there for her to ogle and do touches on. Where was I going? South Figaro Cave. Where is that? That is... I know it's up here somewhere. Here it is. There's free treasures and stuff you can get in, like, Figaro Castle and some other places, but... I don't really need more characters. I feel like I can win the game with what I have. I have to come through this way, I think. Maybe I have to actually come through it from the entire other direction. Let's try that. What does that look like? Maybe it looks like this. But yeah, for like the first 2 books, I was thinking this could be a good comparison for me. But now that I'm at the end of book 3, I'm like, oh... I don't know. Because in the book that I wrote, like, the main characters, the romance, like, they both stayed major characters all the way through. There we go. That's what we're looking for. How about a Master's Scroll would be beautiful. And don't get me wrong, Pearl is nice. How quick does the Paladin Shield teach Ultima? Probably ×1, right? I would think. Because I would love Sabin to get Ultima. That'd be great. Ultima and Cure 3. Cure 3 would be perfect. Or Cure 2. Even Cure 2 I'd be happy with. We got Life 3 in the can. That's good. I don't think we found any healing magic whatsoever anywhere. Ooh, it's Terra. Terra's a bunch of good checks. We're going to have to see what she's got. She might be a replacement for Locke, depending on what she's got. Health. Yes, Terra is a replacement, just straight up over Locke. No question. Give her an Illumina, give her Atma Weapon, give her the Minerva Bustier, and she's got healing. And her palette's nice. Look at this. Looking good on Terra. I like it. And we can go get 2 checks out of Narshe real quick. Here, let's do this. Unequip the... No, don't change party members. Do I still want... I don't... Saba's my magic user. And we got fixed dice. Do I want Mog? Mog's got Ultima, yeah. If I had a 3rd Genji glove, I might do Locke instead of Mog, but I don't think I do. Alright, unequip those not in party. Doinky doinky. What espers can you put on, baby cakes? We can do Quick. I like it. We can do Pearl. Let's do Quick. Let's do Genji Glove. Hero Ring. We've got a Atma Weapon. Minerva. We have a Moogle Charm on, right? Yeah, we do. Excellent. Oh, you'll love to see it. Oh, what was her command? Health, that's right. Healing. So that is a... If you're not sure what the heck that is an ability they give to Bannon, who is... he's only in your party for 1 scene. He's more or less an NPC character, right? And it's just basically casting Cure 2 on the whole party. And it seems really weak at that point in the game, but it's only because it's the very beginning of the game. and Bannon doesn't have good magic stats. You know who's got good magic stats? Terra. So we got healing now. Oh, but Locke had life... No, Saban's got life 3. Yeah. We're pretty good. And yeah, he is learning Ultima. So we're in really good shape. I like this. I could defeat Kefka with this party right now. If we could get to him. We can't yet. We gotta kill some more dragons and stuff. Here's a dragon. Ask and ye shall receive. This isn't even going to touch Terra. It can't. Minerva, baby. I just want to see how good health is. I just want to pop it. Just show it to me. Unless this thing's going to die right here, which it might. You see what I mean, though? Like, we broke into this seed once we got an Esper that has Pearl that we could give to Sabin. Dual casting Pearl has been the hard carry. So, no, we don't even get to see how good health is. Terra doesn't even get a turn. I do like that coloration. For some reason, the palette, the randomizer palettes in Final Fantasy 5 and 6 randomizer, some of them are really, really, really bad. Like, they're lousy. And I don't think there's a reason for it. Like, I think you could make the case that, like, oh, if you randomize the colors, like, of course it's going to look lousy sometimes. But the Final Fantasy 4 randomizer... Oh, we just got rock 2 Magicites in here. Love it. Reflect Murton, Remedy. Do you want to stick with a free? No. Well, Speed 1? Ooh, maybe you do. What else can we learn? Pearl, not interested... Remedy. Maybe Remedy. Past the... Yeah, we probably want to get Remedy on somebody at least. Alright. We got Murton. Regen Q3. Can you use these? No. Can you? You can! Glorious! That's perfect. That's exactly what we want out of life. You can learn Cure 3. You can learn Remedy. Murton... Ultima. Magic power +1. Ooh, no. Hold on. I think that was our first magic power, Esper. You need to get Stray as soon as he learns Cure 3. We need to pop him over to Stray. You can have it for now. I don't really care if you learn... He's got the dice, and the dice don't trigger off of stats, so it really doesn't matter what Esper Setzer has. It doesn't matter at all. Speed +1 would be great for... Can he get a speed +1? Let's take a look at the stats he has. Yes, there. He can just live on Ifrit forever. I'm happy with that. Get that speed +1. Throw them fixed dice out there. Mop it up. What am I still missing? I just need Espers. So I can do any checks. Terra's got good checks, right? Yes. Do the sealed gate. Oh, there's lots of boxes there, too. Zo's, that's a big, long check. Mobliz attack and the river. Okay, we can do some of this. I think we do the river next, actually. Seems reasonable to me. So it's called the Crown of Shards series, and I'm almost done with book 3. I'm kind of hoping I still have a positive... Like, I still feel like it came out ahead, because book 3 is bad, but it's not like... It's not like bad because it's unreadable or boring. It's just clown shoes. It's just totally off the rails. Like at this point, because like I said, she established that the queen is... she doesn't know she's the queen. She's like 17th in line to be the queen or something. And her magic sucks. Like she doesn't have good magic. Like she has a good sense of smell. Like that's not... it's not the sexiest magic power in the world, right? I'll just save here. Even though I just saved outside 2 seconds ago, I am paranoid. I almost feel like this should be a Sabin check, not a Terra check. But Sabin already has a ton of checks, so... My raft looks like it's in the wrong square. That's fun. Alright, I want to see... What are we getting from this? Yep, that's pretty good. That's just a free thing that I can do every round forever. God bless it. But yeah, by like the end of the first book, she realized, oh, she actually has the best superpower in the world. Like, she's actually like the greatest magician who's ever lived. So by the time you get to book 3, like, she's super powerful. You can't beat her. She wins every fight, like, effortlessly. Nothing matters. Who cares? There's no stakes anymore. The whole book is literally just her and her friends dunking on the villain over and over and over. Like, it alternates. Like, they establish that the villain has some plan. They completely foil the plan because they have the most overpowered woman in existence on their side. And then there's a scene where, like, and she like tells the villain about it, and he's like, grrr! He makes that sound. It's so yeah, but it's still an entertaining book, and I'm still enjoying it. But again, we have a world building problem, and it's almost the same problem. Because same thing that happens in this book that happened in the previous book I was complaining about. And I think we just switch espers right now. We just got Dragoon Boots. Mog is good now, if we had a good spear to give him. Because we do have a Dragon Horn. We just need a good spear to give him, and Mog is good now. So, okay. I'm actually real unclear on what the level of technology is in the Crown of Shards setting, because like at times it feels like they're going for pure medieval fantasy. Like there's a gladiator arena, people fight with swords and daggers and shields. There's no firearms. Actually, there's no ranged weapons of any kind as far as I can tell, presumably because magic is so prevalent. Like, you don't have to invent like a crossbow in a world where people can throw fireballs, right? Which I guess is a kind of a cool bit of world building if that was her intent, but I don't know that was the author's intent. Who knows? We need you. What was magic power up? You can't use Stray. Aw, sad face. I guess we go MP 10%. It doesn't really matter. Learn Bolt 3, fine. You've learned all the things. You're going to be in the party. I think you're going to be in the party forever, so you go Cure 3. It's good. Done with Shiva. She's going to be attacking most of the time. Life 3 is going to be important, and you don't care. Okay, but yeah, the level of technology is a little weird, and I'm kind of unclear on what exactly we're aiming at, because sometimes it feels like we're in a medieval setting, but then other times it kind of feels like we're in more like a Renaissance era, where they have like processed foods and stuff. In some cases, that's the wrong way. I'm sorry, I went the wrong way. We'll do an extra fight now, because I'm bad at video game. Yeah, kind of unclear, but it is a feudalistic setting in that, like, there's noble lords and ladies, like there's arranged marriages, and like she's the queen. Like, she needs to get married to a king or a prince or something. Like, her boyfriend that she ends up with is like a bastard prince. Like, he's not the real prince. So it's kind of like a scandal that she wants him. But they kind of take care of that in the second book, right? They kind of have this thing like, you know what? We're just going to be together and everybody's going to lump it. We're going to make our own rules. Which, you know what? Cool. You go get yours, girl boss. Great. No problem with that. But you are still in a setting where, like, you do, like, she has all this angst about, like, her legacy, like her kingdom and the security of her bloodline. But in the sex scenes that they have in book 3, there's a trend in modern fiction, which was it is pretty modern. It's not prevalent through years and years of fiction, that it's very common now if you're going to have a sex scene in your show or your book or your whatever, to like address the issue of using protection, right? So you don't have an unwanted pregnancy. It's good practice because people take cues for their life from fiction that they read. And for years, the prevailing argument was, you can't have a sexy scene if you do that. You can't have two characters who are gonna like do the horizontal mambo and take 2 seconds to be like, do you have protection? Should we use it? But it turns out now here we are in the 2020s and more fiction writers are doing that. They are addressing this issue, which is good. That's a positive thing. They should do that. And this author does that. And again, I don't know the author personally. I don't know anything about her or what she's done, but I don't think it's a big of a stretch to think like maybe she decided to do that in this book because it's just good modern fiction practice. The trend nowadays is to have your characters address the topic of unwanted pregnancy if they're going to have sex. I do it in my book too, by the way, that I wrote that totally has a sex scene that totally weirded my wife out when she read it. So yeah, there's a scene in the book where like she's not even talking to her man beef, right? She's talking to the reader. The book's written in first person, and she's like, don't worry, reader, like both me and him, like we used all the appropriate herbs and stuff. And all I'm thinking is like, aren't you like trying to get pregnant? Like, aren't you the queen and you're trying to secure your legacy? And like, don't you need an heir? So I feel like as a world building, like the author, like her heart was in the right place. She's doing the right thing, but this was a case narratively where it really doesn't make sense. So I don't know. Book 3, like I said, it's Clown Shoes. So that's my review of the Crown of Shards series. Is Book 3 is Clown Shoes. And this is the last fantasy book I'm reading this year. I'm out of credits. After I get to the end of this book, I have packed my head full of... I cannot read more heroic fantasy like in the near future. I'm going to die. I feel like I need a palate cleanser. Like, I feel I need to... Alright, we can go do Kefka now. Great. We do have to go through the whole dungeon, but I don't care, because our party is stacked. Like, we are on it. What I'm going to do first is go get the refreshment, and we want to stock up on healing items, like status. I got softs. Let's get some tents. I already bought revivifies. I want eye drops. Let's buy some. I bought tents. I don't need those. The problem is the final boss does a bunch of bad stuff to you in terms of... I got one remedy. Somebody has the remedy spell, I think. I've got softs and revivifies. Those are the big ones. Those are the ones that are going to hurt a lot. Magort, I would love to give you a great spear, my dude, and have you just be a jump man. I don't think it's going to happen. Other than that, I'm liking what I'm seeing here, and these 4 characters can carry me to the end, so I'm happy. Let's go! We will save the game, and then we will get out of here. So I have read a couple other books. I'm not going to review everything I've read this year, because I've read... Frankly, I've read a lot of just blech this year. And I've read there's some good stuff, too. I've read one of the fantasy series I got into this year as a result of needing comp titles for my own book. It's becoming one of my favorite fantasy series ever. It's got one more book, I think, in the trilogy that I'm going to read. And if they can bring home the bacon on that, it's going to be like one for the ages, I think. Alright, it doesn't matter who's in the other parties, because the other parties don't have to fight anything. The other parties do have to fight things, don't they? We're going to have to go through the dungeon 3 times. No, we're not. No, we're not. Okay, here's what we're going to do. You take this. We do this, right? Yeah, we do that. You've got Ultima. You've got Ultima. You've got fixed dice. So let's put you over here. You'll have a Genji glove. Let's put you, doesn't matter, here-ish. And then goggles. It really depends on like what bosses we get where, but we are going to have to fight bosses in here. I could keep going and find the rest of the characters and stuff, but if we find a boss that we just can't beat, what we can do is just warp out and then stack the party that fights the boss on that spot, and then we'll be in better shape. Alright. I don't care about Go-Go and Mog. I can do... Oh, he only has access to stuff that we've actually unlocked, which means you've got X magic. Which means you'll have the same magic as Mog, which means you'll have double Ultima. You actually are good. Take item. And a Magus Rod. That's actually good. That's actually good. Moogle Charms on Mog here. I'm feeling a pod bracelet. It's pretty good. I'm feeling... I don't have any more earrings, I don't think. And a ribbon for you. Yeah, so this party's not going to have any trouble at all. He's got double Cure 3, double Ultimate. Yeah, he's going to be fine. This party's going to be great. No issues. This party... So you need to put on a Moogle Charm. And... Like, you just... I'm sorry, Realm, you're like my favorite character usually, but... I'm just going to put you in the air. This party's all going to be about Sabin and his earrings and his gold hairpin, I guess. We got Golem. Doesn't do anything for me. Here, let's do that. Maybe I'll have some good spells by the time we get where we're going. So Sabin's going to be soloing bosses, basically. What do you want? Valiant Knife? Yeah, Valiant Knife. Gauntlet. Do we need a Moogle Charm for this group? Yes. So you can have that. No, anything for your stupid head, Umaro? What do you think, Lock? Capture? I don't care. And a ribbon. Alright. I don't know if Valiant Knife's back row okay. But this party can also solo bosses because of Setzer. As long as we got a Moogle Charm happening. And we might get more good stuff in boxes as we go. You never know. Drainer. That's not that good. Another Maneuver Bustier. I don't think Rome can use that, though. I think only Terra and... We never did find Celeste. She's wherever she is. Yeah, suffice it to say, I've been doing a lot of thinking about just the concept of world building in fiction and what works and what doesn't. And as I do that thinking and as I work through the process of writing my own self, like I start seeing things in other authors where I'm like, was that a mistake? Like, did they mean to do that? And sometimes they do. Sometimes they just do, and it's just more important that like the tone that they want to set works right rather than have it be consistent with the world. Like one of the things in Crown of Shards that I noticed is like every major character is a woman. And I understand why. Like the author is a woman, the target audience are women who like fantasy, and super, super girl boss book. I've got no problem with a girl boss book. But they don't ever establish why every major character is a woman. When I say major, I don't mean just like the important characters in the plot. I mean like, except for like we meet the queens of all the different kingdoms. Why do they even call them kingdoms? They should be called queendoms, I think. But yeah, like all the political leaders are women, and then like there's one king, in one place, and then the bad guys, like the big evil king at the end of the series in the book, Crush the King, is a man. But, like, nothing wrong with fantasy that does that. If you want to have your book and just be like, I just want a book about awesome women, you know, kicking ass. Like, great. 100% into that. But in fantasy literature, like, you do, I think, it behooves you to try to do something to establish why that's the case. It wasn't the case on Earth for a lot of reasons. We don't need to fight more bosses, I don't think. I think we just roll. I'm not going to fight a boss I don't have to fight. And I was thinking about this in terms of this particular series. Because I mentioned Dungeons & Dragons. Like, by default, like, Dungeons & Dragons just doesn't play gender politics at all. Like, the genders are equal. Great. In fiction, that works absolutely just fine. We don't need to establish why. We can just take for granted that it is true, and the story works fine. So you don't have situations where, like, a character is, like, forced into a marriage pact because she's a woman that she would not have been forced into if she were a man, if that makes sense. I just want to double check that this is the butt party. This is the one where it's going to get into trouble. So I want to double check I've got a Moogle charm. When I'm running my current D&D campaign, it's a pirate-themed D&D campaign that I run Sundays on the Salute the Flump YouTube channel. Stream it up over there. Not for the rest of this year. We're off for the holidays. We'll be back on Salute the Flump on in 2024. But in this particular setting, for this particular campaign, like, you know what? Just gender does not matter. Character race does not matter. Like, these things were just... this is not the story where we need to explore this. I think that's fine to do in fiction. But I think the Crown of Shards, I think the author missed a cool trick. Because on Earth, the reason throughout most of, like, pre-industrial history, like, the reason men have been in charge is because, like, in Cro-Magnon days, men were bigger and stronger. And for the first 100,000 years that there were people, the biggest, strongest people got to pick what everybody did. That's just how it shook out in history. If you had bigger, stronger dudes than the neighboring kingdom, you got to go take all their stuff. And it wasn't fair and it wasn't fun, but it was how history shaked out. And I think they could do something in Crown of Shards. She could have done something to that effect that explains, because it's a very magical setting, and there's like 4 kinds of magic. Like, you can have like just standard, like regular boring magic, like the heroine does at the beginning before she gets her awesome magic. There's like artisan magic, where like you're like an expert blacksmith or like a world-class chef, like Gordon Ramsay would be a magic user in this setting. We need to step off the buttons. Woo! Then there's, like, transformation magic, where you can, like, transform into a big, scary monster and kill people. And then they have, like, your kind of standard blaster magic, which is, like, standard D&D stuff. Fireballs, ice shards, lightning bolts, blah, blah, blah. So you have these 4 kinds of magic. And all of, like, the big, cool characters, the kings and queens, they've all got, like, the blaster magic, right? Like, the boy toy character who ends up being the romantic interest of the queen, like, he's got lightning magic. And it's, like, really flashy. And, like, the bad guys have lightning magic. And so that's the magic that took over the world. In this setting, that's the magic that really came out, and I needed those doors. That's what I forgot to do. Like, that's the magic that took over the world. So, my thinking is, so just, like, explain, like, in the world building somewhere, for whatever reason, it's just more likely for women to be born with that kind of blaster magic than men. For whatever, like, genetics or magic fairy nonsense, whatever the reason is, it's just more likely that the blaster magic that can, like, burn armies to the ground and move mountains, and it's just more likely for it to happen in women. And then once you do that, you don't have to explain further why all of the countries are run by women and all the coolest characters are women. And you can also have, like, some kind of angst, because the main male character, the boy toy, he's got this kind of magic, but maybe that kind of, it's not seen as masculine in this world because it's like women's magic, and like it's a struggle for him, but like she loves him anyway, even though he's not masculine by her society standard. There's just a lot of interesting things that they could have done, and they don't do any of it. It's just a girl boss book, and there's no explanation. Like, you don't need to explain it, but they had a trick where if they had done some explanation, if they had done some more world building, I think the setting would have really popped more than it does. And then we got into the clown shoes stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure the heroine has a magic power that they never explain. And the way it works is she just, for whatever reason, has this like magnetic attractive ability that causes every assassin in the world to always know where she is and find her immediately. This woman gets assassinated 16 times per chapter. Each of the books are broken up into multiple parts, and each of the parts have a title. And one of the books, the 3 parts of the book are: Part 1, the first assassination attempt; Part 2, the second assassination attempt; Part 3, the third assassination attempt. It's really funny. Like she's the queen, but like none of the royal characters in this book, they've never heard of like having guards. I don't know. I feel like this setting would have really been better if they had gone to the world building table and done some more work there, rather than it just kind of feel like a D&D setting they played in. I don't mind it feeling. I'm literally reading the D&D novel right now that came out, the prequel to Honor Among Thieves, but I don't know. I think books 1 and 2 I would say are like a 7 out of 10, and then book 3 is like a clown shoes out of 10. But I'm still considering like using it as a comparison series, because I think an audience that enjoyed those books might enjoy what I've written as well. I'm going to pop another 10. I'm going to pop 10s at all parties here, because we are about to fight Kefka at 3 hours and change. So figure 3 hours for this run, and then 3 hours for a free enterprise run, and then 3 hours for a really trolly career day seed. Yeah, the rando shuffle I was doing was turning into like an all-day affair. I still kind of like doing it. It's still interesting. It's still fun to do, having all 3 games at once. And I've got to have 2 trackers open over here. Yeah, you just drill. I want to save. I'm going to use a tent after the fight anyway. I guess I don't care. I'm pretty sure this thing absorbs Pearl, but I don't think it can absorb Ultima. I kind of like those colors on Go-Go, by the way. Can't dispel a relic. I'm sorry. My brother in Christ, you can't do it. There's an extra dragon, by the way. So if we went out and got a couple more characters in Espers, we would have unlocked a Kefka Tower skip, which we can go straight to the boss, but that would have taken more time, I think, than just going through here. Pearl Lance. Oh. That's what I wanted to see. That's what I wanted to see. It is Christmas, and I got what I wanted, and we are going to take Mog into the final battle. So here's what we do with Mog now. We give him a dragon horn. We give him dragoon boots. So we have to... You're not going to be used anymore, so I don't care about you anymore. So we're going to give you the Moogle Charm. You're stacked. Let's pop this tent. And we got to give Marvel shoes to someone. Maybe we give Marvel shoes to Sabin. And he doesn't really need the gold hairpin. Maybe that's what we do. Yeah, he doesn't need... Let's do... We can do this. This is great. Also, I just want to see. Yeah, she cannot put... She cannot use the Minerva bustier. Cannot put a sexy bustier on a 10-year-old girl. It's just not legal. Which is funny, because I feel like most JRPGs nowadays, like most modern, like anime-inspired JRPGs, just put the bustier on the 10-year-old girl anyway. I played the Etrian Odyssey 3 remake this year. Love Etrian Odyssey 3. Really, really fun game. Kinda jailbaity sometimes. Alright, it's all going to come down to Ultimo. And I got a couple Mega Elixirs and regular Elixirs, so I'm not worried about him running out of MIPS. We never did find anybody who had Blitz. We unlocked all the Blitzes. We didn't find our Blitz character. Oh, I just blocked that. Sorry. Sorry, my dude. But I have to be on the lookout for who's got Quick. So I know I got some dudes with Quick. And we're going to have to stack Life 3 as well. Going into the final fight. Because we want to make sure people don't die. Dying is bad in the final fight because it'll force me to use characters I don't want to use. Although all of these characters except for Realm kind of have it going on, if I'm being honest. Like even Umaro is pretty consistent damage. Like he's putting some numbers out. Realm just didn't have anything. She's got Bolt 3 now. Realm has Bolt 3. That's what she got. Ding. Alright, let's pop this tent. What am I looking at as far as... What can you show me in like a... I got 3 Elixirs, 2 Mega Elixirs. That's good. I'm probably going to pop a Mega Elixir if Kefka uses Heartless Angel. I've got Terra with the health ability. Or Prey or whatever. It's health in this version. It's Prey in other translations. This is one of those games that has like multiple translations, so it's like confusing what stuff is called. Just save here so I don't have to reload if I die. OBKB. Can't wait. Let's fight some Kefka. The problem is not Kefka himself. The problem is getting through the gauntlet before him. But we've got... I think we're pretty stacked. I think we're good to go. In fact, I could swap Go-Go into the main party. I'm not going to. We're not going to... I could, and then have 2 people spamming Life 3, but I think I've got 3 people using Life 3 on the first round. And Saban can double cast it, and then we can pop him an Elixir once he runs out of MIPS, and he can throw Ultima out there. It's going to be fantastic. Christmas 2023. The birth of our Lord and Savior, Luigi. Kefka's color palette, he and Go-Go shop at the same boutique, it looks like. It looks like he got that robe at the same place Go-Go did, and then he went to see Realm's hairdresser. So we want Terra, we want Setzo, we want Magort, we want Sabine, I want Go-Go up-ins at the end, and then I guess Locke, and then Umaro, then Realm at the end. So who did we find? Cyan, Edgar, Shadow, Strago is who we didn't find. Oh! Yeah, we could have got a free character. If you take Realm to the Fanatic's Tower, you get a free... There's a free something there. Whoops, I forgot. Alright, do you have anything I want to cast? Yes, Quick. On... Oh, you can only cast it on yourself. That's fine. Do you have Quick? You don't. So you're going to cast Life 3 on yourself and on Terex. Those are the healers. You've got Life 3. You're going to cast that on Setzer. You are ready to Quick. Or you are Quick. So you're going to throw 2 volleys of dice. 3d6 plus 3d6. Like them big numbers. I like them. What you got? You got Cure 3. You've also got Life 3. Everybody's got Life 3 stacked. Good. I'm happy to just keep using Quick on you, actually. Perfect. And now we're going to X-Magic Ultima. And the head's already dead, it looks like. Oh, we just... This is what I mean. Like, this rando, once you break into it, you're good. Final Fantasy V is a tough randomizer because, like, you can... There's a few bosses in Final Fantasy V that are just hard stops. Like, if you don't have the thing that kills them, you just have a rough time. And you're going to jump. You're going to do what a Magort does and do some jumpage. We don't need a quick on this tier anymore. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to end one of these tiers of Kefka's like weird mutant flesh tower with a character dead. Because if that happens, that character leaves the party. And then gets added to, like, the next character in the list gets added in instead. So, like, that's what we didn't want to see happen there. Okay, good. So Life 3 fixed it. We'll come in next round. I'll have Sabin probably Cure 3, Life 3 on Setzer. I want Mog to jump just once. You know? Just once. Okay, so... Oh, he did jump. He was already up. Look at that damage! My God, sir. Calm down. It's Christmas. Wow. That's why you give Mog the Dragoon Horns. In case you were wondering. That's why you do it. Also, he's unkillable because he's got a snow muffler. And he jumps on his butt. Like, he sits down on his butt and takes off by thrusting his pert, tight gluteus maximus into the ground, launching him into the air. Fan-frickin-tastic. So you can do this, and then you need to drink an elixir, my friend. Yeah, you love to see that. You just absolutely love to see that. I played this game for years and years and years thinking that the Dragoon Horn sucked. It's only because I never like used a good spear. Once you get this, like the Pearl Spear, the Holy Lance or whatever it's called in this version, like once you've got that, like yeah, Dragoon Horn. Like the build does take up both of your relic slots, but then a lot of really good broken builds take up both of your relic slots, right? So... Okay, so I think his Life 3 is dispelled. I think that's what happened there. Oh, don't die. Here, hold on. I can check this. Yeah, his Life 3 was dispelled. Here, let's do this. Let's just cast regular cast Cure 3. And hope Sabin doesn't... Oh, these hits aren't nothing, though. These hits are puny. If Mog drops out the sky here and one-shots this Tier 3, I will buy him a box of Ferrero Rocher. I think he will have earned it. If that, in fact, comes to pass... Actually, can we Life 3 here? 50, 40. Yeah. So yeah, let's get Life 3 back on Mog, and then we'll Cure 3. Everybody. And then you're going to throw an Elixir on Sabin. Get him back in the game, and then you're going to fight, and then you're going to jump. Wonderful. I ended up not needing that health ability because as soon as we got her, we got the Cure 3 spell. So, yeah, we'll just keep going with this. Like, there is, for some reason, you can turn Ultima off. I don't know why you'd want to. Or Illumina off, or... Yeah, the Ultima spell, you could take it out of the game in the randomizer. Don't know why you'd want to. I didn't want to. Ooh, that absorbs holy. Whatever. Whatever. I'm gonna eat a train? Oh, that was bad. Hold on. Yeah. We need a remedy for Sabin now. Okay, this is going to get... We're not going on to the next tier yet. Let's get Life 3 back up. You need a remedy. This is all I've got is an echo screen. Okay, well, you need it, so let's get it. I'm going to save your turn. Ah, shoot. That's fine, that's fine. Life 3, who needs it? You need it. You need it. Ones? Ugh. We need to heal. I need to take this woman's face out, I think, is what needs to happen. I think that's the problem I'm having here is I forgot to remove her face from the world. So let's have Mog use Ultima instead of jumping here. No, let's roll some big numbers on the dice. How about that? Okay. Woman's dead, so yeah, he can safely jump now. I don't like this. This is going to silence people again. And I can't use health like that either. I don't have another remedy either. And I didn't go out and look for... I've got eye drops, but I did not go out and look for... Shoot. Okay. I think we just... We can pop a Mega Elixir if he does Heartless Angel, and I think we just burn him down with attacks. I don't think Jump can miss, and I don't think Atma Weapon or Illumina can miss either. So I think Terra, Mog, Fixed Dice... Man, I don't think Fixed Dice can miss either. I don't think anybody actually cares about being blind in this fight. So I think we just tear Kefka up, starting with his stupid purple backwards foot, and then work our way up to his unbrushed hair. Yeah, we'll just do this to his stupid face over and over. No problem. Don't really have anything to do on Sabin's turn. Magicite. Summon a random Magiciter. Ah, there's Rama. 16 hundo. I'll take it. Actually, no, I'm going to sit on Sabin's turn, so we can throw that Mega Elixir as soon as we see Heartless Angel. Or, like, when I have to. Like, once it needs to come out. Oh, you know what? I've got two. I'm going to throw one right now. Oh, she can miss with the Atma Weapon, it looks like. Never mind, he's dead. Oh, well. Where's Mog? He's just gone. Mog just... He's just went up into orbit. I must go now. Moogle planet needs me. Yeah, fun randomizer. I got into this one. I didn't get into it hardcore like I did with Zelda 3 or Super Metroid or Free Enterprise or Final Fantasy 1. Those are the randomizers I got super into for a long time. Last year I also really got into Ship of Harkinian, which is a PC remake, essentially like a built from ground up remake of Ocarina of Time, which has really robust randomization. In a rando seed, I would love to do, because you can randomize absolutely everything, like everything. Super trolly, and you can set an objective to like, oh, look at Edgar. Oof. No. Dude, my dude's got problems. Sorry. He looked busted. So the gating in Ocarina of Time to get into the final dungeon, there's a rainbow bridge you have to build. And in the vanilla game, the way you build it is by having the spirit medallions, right? You need to collect all 6 of the magical spirit medallions. You get 1 for free, and then you go to the 5 adult dungeons, the 5 temples, right? And then once you have all 5 medallions, you go there and it builds a magic rainbow bridge, and then you can get into Ganon's castle. In Ship of Harkinian, you can set it to that objective to be anything, really, like anything you want. So one of these days when I get back into Ship of Harkinian, I'm going to do a run where I randomize everything, like just crazy pull your hair out settings, and then set that bridge to like 99 Skulltulas. Somewhere in the world, I gotta find 99 Skulltulas. That's a down the road project. I've been out of the loop on Ship of Harkinian for a while. We got really into it for a little while, and then I kind of fell out of the wayside. These things go around, right? In cycles. You play games, you get obsessed, you put it on the shelf, forget about it for a minute. Mostly right now I'm playing Risk of Rain Returns. Steam says I've got 200 hours on that game. The game's only been out for like a month. But I think a lot of that is what I'll do is I'll start playing it on the Steam Deck, and then I won't shut the Steam Deck down properly, and like it'll just think the game is, and it's just like idles for like 16 hours before I notice. I think that just happens a lot. I don't know if we get any like randomizer stats from this ending, honestly. I guess it's possible, but I don't know. I'm just watching the ending. So this is one of my favorite video game endings of all time. I did have to watch it repeatedly. I did a Let's Play series of Final Fantasy VI. I played the Game Boy Advance version. It's several years old now, and it was fairly long. It was a long series. I put a lot of time into it, and when I got to the ending, I was like, wouldn't it be fun if I like showed my character stats? Like, which character did I use the most? Who did the most damage? And I did all this calculation, and I had a spreadsheet, so I was like watching, like doing the editing on the videos. I was like updating the spreadsheet in real time, so I knew how many times like Setzer used his dice, and how many times like Shadow threw a shuriken or something. And I had to go through this ending. I probably had to watch the ending sequence like 40 times to do all the editing and get it all in place. It looked really slick though, and I was really proud of it. So I'm glad that I did it. I think it's fun to look back on that series now and like, oh yeah, you can tell that Brick Road loves Realm and Setzer and doesn't care at all about Strago. I don't think I learned any blue magic in that run. But yeah, I would love to do some more Shuffle Rando with Free Enterprise, Worlds Collide, and Career Day. I think I'm going to have to bite the bullet though and not do, because I like big randomizations, and so in Worlds Collide I can keep the level of randomization I like and just turn down the requirements for Kefka. Like, you kind of do need 6 characters just to make the game work in some places, but I don't need to require like 12 Espers, right? And I could do that in Free Enterprise and Career Day too. Like the Career Day setting I like removes Neo X-Death. Neo X-Death is such a pain. It's totally possible to get to the end of a Career Day seed, blitz the whole game, get to the end, and have no way to fight Neo X-Death. The other thing I didn't like about Career Day is it's really, really predicated on what you roll in your shops. I like Free Enterprise and Worlds Collide. Like, you can play these 2 randomizers without ever checking a shop and just live out of treasure boxes. And in fact, both randomizers have a setting to turn shops off, basically, or fill shops with garbage or whatever. And you can reasonably do that. But in Career Day, if you like a high level of randomization, there's a lot of things in the game, because you're not just looking for equipment, you're also looking for jobs and abilities. Like, there's not enough treasure boxes in the game to have a good enough spread of stuff to guarantee you have a good party for Neo X-Death by the end. So shopping is just a really big part of it. And like checking shops in randomizers is not fun a lot of the time. In this run, you see I only checked the shops in the towns that I already went to, in Career Day, I really feel like the most efficient way to get a seed going, you have your airship at the beginning, you can go to all the towns, is to literally fly to all the towns and check all the shops and see what's there. So you don't bang your head against, you can reach, I don't know, I think 6 or 8 bosses right from the beginning. And it's totally possible with your starting jobs or whatever, you just can't fight any of them in that game. And if that's the case, then, well, bang your head against them and hope for a lucky run, or maybe like check a shop that has like Hunter in it for 1,300 gold. See, I think every Career Day seed really starts with you flying around to all the places, like all the castles and towns that have hidden treasure, and then checking a lot of the shops. And then once you do that, if you do that at the start of the seed, you're almost always set for the seed, because at that point you've seen so much stuff in shops that you can really... They have waiting options, though, that might offset that. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I think the randomizer has options for, like... Because Final Fantasy V is split into 3 worlds. And you do some tasks in World 1 to unlock World 2, and then you do some tasks in World 2 to unlock World 3, and then Neo X stuff is at the end of World 3. They do have some waiting options where, like, the best... Like, to keep the best stuff out of World 1? But that wouldn't feel good either, though, because then you just check all the shops and do all these, like, castle treasure box hunts to get, like, some basic stuff to win World 1, and you still don't have good stuff, so you guys do it again in World 2. So yeah, that feels bad, but for a different reason. Like, instead of finding Samurai in a shop and being set for the whole game 5 minutes into the seed, now you can't find Samurai until World 3, and that doesn't feel good either. That's not a randomizer, come on. I like a trolley randomizer, but I like a consistent, like, I like to be able to sit down and be like, this randomizer is going to take me 3 hours. And it usually does. Unless you got to triple dip into Turtle Rock. Like a boss. But no, I eventually did find a flag set for Worlds Collide that I really like. And 6 is just a chill game. I think 6 is a much more chill game than 4 and 5, if we're talking Final Fantasies. Just to pick up and have a good time with. It's easier, for one thing. There's fewer just roadblock bosses. There's a lot more to play with in terms of what characters you find. Finding characters in this game is super fun, because characters give you access to a new... Well, the way I have it set up in my flag set, gives you access to a new battle command, gives you somebody else you can put in your party, and unlocks more checks. So I think Worlds Collide solved the problem with gating checks that Career Day and... What's the Chrono Trigger one called? Jets of Time? It's going to bug me if I don't look it up. I have Emo Tracker installed on my laptop. Emo Tracker is a randomizer tracker that has every randomizer that's ever been made is in the Emo Tracker. And if it's called Jets of Time, I will know that. Yeah, Jets of Time. See, I only really did, I think, one run of the Chrono Trigger randomizer, and it's because it kind of has the same issue. The gating just gets really abstract, because progression in Chrono Trigger doesn't come from like physically finding objects or like clearing physical barriers, but just like moving forward through the story. So it becomes a little sillier. Also, Chrono Trigger is just not as robust a game as Final Fantasy 4, 5, or 6. Or 1, honestly. Nothing against Chrono Trigger. It's a great game. It's one of my favorite Final Fantasy games. But... oh, you know what game would have a great randomizer? Sea of Stars came out this year, and I fell instantly in love with it. I immediately played it twice. I played it start to finish, then I started over and I did a New Game Plus and went start to finish on New Game Plus. That is the most Chrono Trigger game that is not Chrono Trigger, except it has actually really interesting combat that never got boring. Sea of Stars randomizer. Let's make it happen. I have no idea how you would go about it. I guess you'd have to do the Steam version. Now, what else did I play this year? Sea Stars. I played Etrian Odyssey 3 Remake. I really... They put out the Etrian Odyssey 1, 2, and 3 HD versions on Steam, but 3 is the only one that I bought. Because I liked 1, and I kind of liked 2, but like I really loved 3. 3 was excellent. Because I enjoyed that. I played some Hi-Fi Rush. I didn't complete Hi-Fi Rush, unfortunately. I feel like I'm missing... I played Void Stranger until I got bored with it. Firmament came out. Played that with my boy. Firmament was pretty good. I liked Firmament. It was not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be Riven, but it was really just... really, I can't think of what it actually was. I can't think of a good comp title for Firmament. But yeah, it was fun. Oh, after I completed Sea of Stars, I went back and played The Messenger, which I had never played before. That was absolutely... when I first started playing it, I thought, this game's kind of okay. By the time I got to the end, I was really, really enjoying it, and I really, really loved it. Oh, yeah, there was another game that came out this year that I thought was pretty good. It's really obscure, though. It's pretty... You probably haven't heard of it. It's called Final Fantasy 16. Loved it. I adored Final Fantasy 16. Absolutely loved the story. I love the combat. That game got panned by reviewers. People absolutely hated the combat, and I loved every second of it. People were like, "Oh," like all the things people complained about the combat in 16 are like the reasons I loved the combat in 16. Like I loved the fact that it was more of an RPG than an action game. I loved the fact that like you're really just kind of chaining cooldowns and doing cooldown management. That's really the core of the combat. I did the full hundo. I did every side quest. I found all the good stuff. Adored it. I loved the villain. I thought the villain was creepy and weird. I thought the game had a good romance subplot once that got going. I really liked the interplay between Clive and Jill. A lot of people complained about that too. Didn't have any nudity. I thought the game, like, it had nudity, but it didn't, like, show the nudity on the screen. I'm like, you know what? How are you going to have an M-rated game, first Final Fantasy game that has sex scenes? Technically, Final Fantasy VI is the first Final Fantasy game that has a sex scene in it. If you know, you know. But yeah, there are scenes in 16 where, like, yeah, the characters are nude, but, like, the camera just happens to be panned to the side, so half of the character is off the screen, and we're just looking at an empty room otherwise. Lots of that. But no, I like the characters a lot. I like the story a lot. I feel like I'm going to really enjoy replaying that game a few times. Was Rogue Legacy 2 this year, or was that the previous year? Because, yeah, I put... What does it say on Steam? Ooh, no, sorry, that was last year. Last played December 15th, 2022. Nope. Haven't touched that game in a year. Ugh. I've spent so much of this year inside of my own little worlds. Doing writing. Writing a book. 2 books that I wrote. And I had to invent the world and the people in it and the stuff that happens. When you spend that much time in a world that doesn't exist, and you, like, it kind of becomes more real than other fake worlds, if that makes sense. It becomes easy to lose track of all kinds of stuff. You know what I want? I played Etrian Odyssey 3 this year. I would love for them to release Persona Q2 on Steam. I'm not going to buy it on 3DS. I really want to play it. But I'm not going to buy a 3DS game in 2023. That's ridiculous. It's just not going to happen. But that's like an Etrian Odyssey like map game, like dungeon hack game with the Persona characters. And the characters are like the best part of Persona. I feel like there is another game this year that I like raved about, but oh, Yakuza. Yeah, Like a Dragon. Oh god, that game was good. That game took me like 90 hours. Got that on PS5. Loved it. Can't wait for the sequel's coming out next month? January, right? Frantic typing noises. Yeah, January 26th. Like, literally 1 month after you watch this on Christmas, I'm going to pop off on Yakuza Like a Dragon. Absolutely adored that game. Like, for years and years and years, if you've watched, especially if you've watched my YouTube channel a lot, you've probably been, I've mentioned this in a bunch of Let's Play series. I'm really a gameplay first kind of guy, to the point where, like, if I will play a fun game and not care about the story. Video game has to have really, really good storytelling to even get me to wake up and notice. But I feel like this year I played a lot of games where the writing and the storytelling really came to the forefront for me. Like, even The Messenger was kind of like that. That's not a game from this year. Why do I own a copy of NBA 2K20? What? Why do... I don't know. I have a tab in my Steam list of unplayed games that I'm kind of just looking through to see what else, like if there's anything else that I got but I haven't played yet. My most played game on Steam this year is Incrolution. I'm not going to describe what Incrolution is. It's I feel ashamed. I'll leave it at that. I'm ashamed to have played Incrolution this year more than any other game. Although Risk of Rain Returns is going to give it a run for its money. I'm going to do another Risk of Rain Returns run while this is rendering out in an hour or so. So, yeah, I think it's been an excellent year for games. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a so-so year for books, but I'm toughed it out. And yeah, it's rough that I know how it's rough where, like, your YouTube guy just stops halfway through a video series you were enjoying and then doesn't do anything for like 6 months. But I'm still here. I still live here. I have not forgotten all of you. I was just busy doing something. This was really the year where I was able to prove to myself, hey, you can write a book, why not? And I wrote 2. And now I'm going to try to get them published. I would like nothing more than for all of you to eventually have the opportunity to purchase these books. I think that would be fantastic. That's the dream. That's what I'm going to spend next year working on. So wish me luck, I guess. I have forgotten how long this ending is, and I think by the time we're done watching this credits sequence, it's actually going to be Christmas 2024. Oof. So I'm going to need to immediately record the next Christmas video then. This is not the closest I've ever cut a Christmas... You guys don't know how close I cut these videos. It's not, because you always just see them on the 25th, but the first year I made one of these, I think I recorded it on the 23rd and then rendered it out on the 24th and then uploaded it the morning. I think that's the closest. I think I played Super Metroid, and I had the idea at the very, very last minute that I wanted to do a Christmas video, and it wasn't a tradition yet. I don't think I've cut one closer than that ever. But yeah, right now it's very early morning on December 20th, so I've only got a couple days. But you guys are watching it on the 25th, or you're not, or you guys were super busy on Christmas. You know, you got to go to the in-laws' house, or you got to, you know, do crazy stuff with the kids. If you're like me and you live in Florida, you got to drive down to the park and play in the fake snow. I don't want to know how bad for the environment those fake snow machines are. They can't be good. Because my air conditioner is not good for the environment, and a fake snow machine is just like an air conditioner with like mutant superpowers. I also found out just yesterday, I just literally found this out. I said there's no way that can be true. I looked into it, it's true. They have been releasing DLC tracks for Rock Band 4 for years, every week. Blew my mind. I haven't plugged in my Xbox to play Rock Band in years and years and years. It's 8 years. Almost 9. Rock Band 4 came out, and they've been releasing DLC this whole time. Every song in existence must be in the game by now. Crazy. I'm seriously considering plugging the Xbox One in here, re-upping my Xbox Live for a month, and just going ham on some plastic guitar. God, I think I've earned it after completing the draft of like 2 completed manuscripts. I think that brings us to the end of Final Fantasy VI, though, guys, because Tara's about to do her thing. We're like, yeah, it's blowing through her hair. That's a good color palette. Celis was like, I'm just gonna keep my regular color palette if that's okay. Also, you guys didn't find me in the game. I'm still chained to that wall down there. It's crazy. Why? I do hope that you have a fantastic holiday. If you already had your holiday, and you're watching this at some point after the fact, I hope you had a fantastic holiday. If you don't celebrate any of the holidays, I hope you had a nice day and a good lunch. I'm going to try to get Outer Wilds picked back up for you guys. I'm not going to make any promises about Donkey Kong or Ultima. There's a story behind Ultima 4 that's not pleasant, and it's the kind of thing that I might have planned to get into in the middle of a Christmas video, doing a almost 4-hour randomizer run. But now that we're at the very end credits, I can't get into it. Ultima 4 is a maybe. I'll put it at that. Fiend, thank you so much for watching. If you're a longtime subscriber, thank you for hanging in there with me. I'll see you guys in 2024.